Welcome to the Singular Pre-Race Show, brought to you by Singular, the wireless company that supports self-expression nationwide.
Fox Sports welcomes you to a star-spangled night of racing. Millions of dollars up for grabs. One lucky fan might get a share of the cash as the best drivers in the world take on the best track in the world. The Daytona International Speedway, stirring up memories of legendary champions. Also the site of sudden sorrow, the loss of Dale Earnhardt last year. Dale Earnhardt Jr. trying to win here again, the defending champ, like he did last summer. His father certainly would have been proud then. And Ward Burton, who won the Daytona 500 in February, has not won since. Could he crank it up and capture the checkered flag tonight? What about Jeff Gordon in the 24 car? He's now gone 24 consecutive races without a win, but he's won this race twice, and tonight try and put an end to his career longest slump. Stick around. We'll see who has the best moves tonight over 400 super speedway miles.
Backseat of my 60 Chevy, working on mysteries without any clues, working on a night move, trying to make some front page driving news, working on a night move. Last night to the sound of thunder. How far off I sat and wondered. Night moon.
This 4th of July weekend, as we celebrate the birth of our country, close to 150,000 fans have gathered here at the birthplace of stock car racing. They're gearing up for speed and drama and excitement under the lights as the sun sets here in Daytona. Our Hollywood hotel located just above Victory Lane, where tonight one special driver, maybe one lucky fan, will be surrounded by millions of dollars, millions of new friends. Hi, I'm Chris Myers. Welcome to the Singular Pre-Race Show, and thanks for being with us. This is the last Fox broadcast of NASCAR this season. We're going to leave you with a great race, the Pepsi 400 here in Daytona, and a special night of festivities. Jessica Simpson will sing America the Beautiful. Darius Rucker from Hootie and the Blowfish will perform our national anthem. There will be fireworks. Carrot Top is here, so you know it's a big event. There's a military jet flyover. Everyone will be holding their breath as the drivers will race up to 190 miles per hour, side by side, bumper to bumper on this super speedway. And we're joined, as always, Darrell Waltrip and
quit, will you?
And Carrot Top. No, and Jeff Ham. Oh, look, they got all decked up for you guys. Look sharp. Look at how officially look like news anchors over here. Happy 4th of July to both of you and to all the viewers out there. So, hey, this race is known for the big one. We saw the Busch race last night. How do drivers come into this race, Darrell, thinking, hey, I got a race to win, but I know that big crash is right around the corner?
Oh, Chris, it's a nail biter. I mean, look at my nails. That's just from watching last night. Here's what we get all excited about. You'll hear some 3 wide, 3 wide. You know, everybody at home saying, what's the big deal about 3 wide? Well, here's what you hear next. Caution. Are you okay? That's what happens. I mean, when they get 3 wide here, more than likely when they get to the turn, somebody's got to give. If you ever played chicken as a kid, that's kind of what it's like going down into the first turn, the third turn.
All right, as a crew chief, what are you telling your driver when he's in that position?
First thing is stay in bounds. NASCAR put an out of bounds here at Daytona, just like at Talladega, to keep some of these guys from getting too racy.
Below
they can go 4 and 5 wide. You can see the yellow line right there to keep that from happening, because all of a sudden you come down these big wide straightaways, it narrows down in these tight corners, and that's where the trouble begins. So you're telling your driver, look, We got 400 miles here, buddy. Settle down, run up on that high side, and keep your nose clean.
And surviving the big one that Greg Biffle did last night in the Busch race. Darrell, take us through 15 cars involved in this big one. What's going through the mind of a driver?
Well, I think Stacy Compton right here, he is a great display of what you do in an accident. He goes right through the middle of this thing, never hits anything. You back off the throttle, you hold your line, and you kind of go where the wreck is. Because they always tell us, you know, if you drive at it, it won't be there when you get there. Yeah. Proved out for him. Like
run right at the nose tackle. And a lot of guys coming here with new cars because Talladega, obviously, we had a big one there.
Had a big one at Talladega. A lot of the guys had to come with new cars. And things right now is really hurting a lot of these teams is we didn't get the happy hour they were looking for. A lot of guys have got a lot of questions about their cars, especially Daytona 500 winner Ward Burton, who's starting way back in provisional land. He's got limited time on his car, and he has a lot of questions about it. And the reason why he didn't have his car he won Daytona with, it's in the museum up there.
Daytona, USA, and that's what happens, Darrell. When you win here, they take the car, put it right in there. He probably wishes he had it because he hasn't won since.
It's sort of good news, bad news. Good news is I won the race. Bad news is they took my car.
That's right.
Yes, but certainly he's trying to turn things around, and we'll keep an eye on Ward Burton tonight. We're going to now send DW and Jeff are going to go down below here at Victory Lane, right, to our demonstration car and the Ford cutaway car in just a moment. So we'll hear from them in just a second. As the guys head out, let's bring in tonight's pole sitter, Kevin Harvick. Last year, after Dale Earnhardt lost his life on the last lap of the Daytona 500, Kevin was called on to replace him in the Goodwrench Chevrolet car. In only his third Winston Cup start, he nosed out Jeff Gordon to win in Atlanta. He won 2 races last year. Harvick was Rookie of the Year, but this season a major disappointment. That's why winning the pole for his race tonight might signal a reversal of fortune. Unhappy Harvick could be happy again, and he's with our Steve Burns.
Hey, Chris, let's talk to him and find out. Now, Kevin, it's been a disappointing year, but how important is this pole position to you, and can you turn it into a win?
Well, I don't know if it's obviously been a disappointing year, but I don't know if you can't take a lot away from it, but it's important for us. I mean, we need a little bit of momentum just to get us back going. This is a great race team, a great organization, and they've been through worse. Just ask Richard. I mean, every time we do something, he can relate to it, and we'll get this Jim Goodwrench team back going, and I think tonight hopefully will be the first step.
Kevin, the key to winning tonight?
Well, I hope so. I mean, we had a good car in qualifying. Hard to tell how it's going to handle. We didn't have any happy hours, so work on our car a little bit and go from there.
Best of luck, Kevin.
Thanks, guys.
Let's go back to Chris.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. And the best finish for Harvick this year, 3rd at Darlington. The only surprise bigger than Kevin Harvick on the pole might be part-time driver Jeffrey Bodine starting across from him on the front row. Now, as promised, Jeff Hammond and Darrell Waltrip, that dynamic duo down to the Ford cutaway car. Jeff?
Well, thanks a lot, Chris. Darrell, we're back down here to the place we've been here before.
Oh, yeah.
Victory Lane here at Daytona. It's always an exciting place. But guess what? For somebody that could meet $1 million night, and a good friend of ours, Ricky Craven, has a chance to do that. $1 million chance. Ricky Craven, what do you think about that?
Jeff, I can't believe it. It's really exciting. And there are a few other things that are pretty exciting here. Hey, DW, this is Ricky Craven.
Hey, Ricky. How you doing, man? Hope you win that $1 million tonight.
Thank you very much. I was wondering, does this sound familiar?
Oh, I won the Daytona 500. I won the Daytona 500.
Darrell, how long?
Wait.
Isn't that great? Hey, DW, take a look at what we've done to the Ford cutaway car.
Oh, let's see here.
Hey, guys, let's uncover this thing. Take a look at what's going on here.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Yeah.
DW paint job. I like it.
Good.
Yeah, it was in Victory Circle right here just a few years ago.
Isn't that beautiful? Hey, that's not all we're doing now. We're going to be running this car at the Brickyard 400, celebrating Tide's 15th anniversary.
Oh, man, that's great. That's awesome. One of my best, favorite sponsors of all time.
That's not all. Look what else we got for you.
Big guy, hey, I got something for you, big guy. Guess what? Everybody thought this was our, we're going to run one race this year, but we got another thing coming. Wrong. Look what's behind door number 2. We got a brand new Tide Ride. All right.
Hey.
All right.
Oh, baby. Yes.
We're going to ride again in August, baby. In August, we're coming back. IRP, Indianapolis Raceway Park, DW, the Tide Ride, and me, we're coming back to have some more fun. How about that?
TIDE.
Here we come, boys. Hey, you got to get up the boot, but before you go, I need to know something.
I got to get in shape, too.
You got to get in shape. I need to know who your pick is tonight, because I'm going to beat you.
I'm going to take homeboy. I'm going to take Sterling. Now, Sterling, don't get out and pull on that fender tonight. He's my man.
I tell you what, I'm going to keep it in the family. I'm going to go with Michael Waltrip. I like him here at Daytona. But Larry Mack, who do you like?
Come on, guys. We're at Daytona. I'm going to go with a man that has won 3 of the last 4 restrictor plate races, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in that Budweiser car. How about it, Chris?
All right, Larry, we'll keep an eye on it. You got some making up to do here. The Singular You Make the Call standings show that, well, Darrell's ahead of Jeff, and Larry struggled just a little bit. As for the championship point standings with the drivers, Sterling Marlin's lead a little shaky. Only 88 points separate the top 5 drivers. These guys as close as the cars that'll race around the track here at Daytona. Coming up on the Singular pre-race show, a summit with the Darrell Waltrip, Dale Jarrett, and some of the young gun generation drivers as we get ready for the Pepsi 400 tonight in Daytona. But first, the defending champ comments on working his way around the world's most famous super speedway.
There's a lot of things that you will never understand by just watching on television, and that's because you just can't feel the heat, the vibration,
but 40%,
the adrenaline running through you. The G-forces of it pushing you down in the seat, forcing you down into the seat of the car, and a helmet that seems so light is almost 50 pounds, almost like it's just trying to pull your head off top of your shoulders. So
that's
it's amazing how the cockpit is molded around you, and everything that you need is all right there, and it's nobody else's, and you're in there by yourself, and there's some serenity and solitude in that.
Welcome back to Daytona. Regis Philbin's Who Wants to Be a Millionaire canceled, but the Winston No Bowl continues. 5 drivers chosen thanks to past accomplishments and selected lucky fans picked at a contest. Tonight's race has the atmosphere, when you throw all that together, of an all-star event. And when it comes to all-star games, nobody does it better than baseball. Our Jeannie Zelasco joins us now to preview Tuesday's all-star game on Fox.
Tuesday night's 73rd All-Star Game will be a showcase for your favorite stars and fresh new faces. 26 first-timers will be in Milwaukee, including 4 starters: Alfonso Soriano, Shea Hillenbrand, Torrey Hunter, and Scott Rowland. The Red Sox, Diamondbacks, and Yankees each have 6 representatives, including the entire Yankees starting infield. Only the 4th time that's happened in history. For the first time, fans were allowed to vote online for the 30th player on each roster. A pair of center fielders, Atlanta's flashy Andrew Jones and Boston's Johnny Damon, were selected after 3.6 million votes were tabulated. American League skipper Joe Torre selected an unprecedented 4 reserves at shortstop to join starter Alex Rodriguez. Derek Jeter, Nomar Garciaparra, Omar Vizquel, and Miguel Tejada make up one of the greatest collections ever displayed at the Summer Classic. The National League squad features a powerhouse outfield: Barry Bonds, Sammy Sosa, and Vladimir Guerrero, who've combined for over 70 home runs, while Arizona's dynamic duo of Randy Johnson and Curt Schilling lead the senior circuit on the mound. Don't miss the festivities, as the 30 greatest moments in baseball history will be revealed as the stars come out for the Major League Baseball All-Star Game Tuesday night on Fox.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Hold on, Louise. We're getting ready for that. Give them a little time to get to their cars. And Dale Earnhardt Jr., defending champ here, with a paint scheme in the All-Star Game on Fox on his car as well. And, of course, the ceremonies on Fox begin at 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 Pacific. And we put together a panel of all-star drivers to discuss the state of NASCAR: Dale Jarrett, Jimmy Johnson, and Kurt Busch. And they all sat down with our Darrell Waltrip.
We'll get right into it. How do y'all find the veteran drivers treat you today?
You've got to work with them and show them that you can race cars, and going out and be part of them in practice, being part of it in a happy hour session. You're out there building your rapport, so to speak, and they're not going to make it easy on you, and we're going to make our mistakes. They know that. I mean, it's a round-robin system. It really hasn't changed over the years. You just have to be smart enough to adapt to what's going on.
You know, we're obviously in a lot better equipment than the rookies were 20 years ago, and getting a lot better start at that. But at the same time, I mean, we're all in equally prepared cars throughout the field for the most part, and we've got to go out and race against one another. So that gap's been closed up a lot. But you still have to go out there and earn Dale Jarrett's respect, and, you know, everyone's respect out there. And it's just an evolution. You don't walk in and because you drive for Jeff Gordon, Rick Hendrick, everybody says, all right, you know, we respect you, come on, you know, join the crowd. Yeah. You've got to go out there and earn that.
When you see one of these kids in your rearview mirror, I mean, do you think, rookie, Or do you think, no, rookie?
I think they've definitely earned our respect, you know, in a short period of time, and that's good because they've gone about their business in a good way. You see that they're not only driving with their foot, but they're driving with their head. We're not hesitant now to see these guys and pull out in practice and run with them or in the race. I mean, I've followed these guys a lot this year and last year, and I don't mind doing that to see if there's something they're doing. I'm not too old to continue to learn, so I want to find the fast guys, and these two guys are perfect examples of that.
Can you guys carry the sport? Is there enough of, I mean, there's enough of you. Do you guys have what it takes to keep the sport growing and going?
I think so, and especially over time as we all develop into our roles and our personalities on and off the racetrack. I don't see anyone going anywhere soon, so I don't think it's anything you got to worry about. So I think it'll be, you know, just something that works itself out, and hopefully, you know, we'll be able to help continue on and be a part of it. And I'm sure there's going to be more young guys coming behind us and to carry on the torch.
Who's the leader of our sport right now?
I think you've got two guys, Dale Jr. and Jeff Gordon. Those are the guys that are driving our sport right now. And we have a good mix. I mean, we've got these guys that do that job every week, and they're bringing a younger fan to us. And then you still have Ricky Rudd, Rusty, Bill, hopefully myself occasionally, that keep the fans that have been here for a long time, you know, we keep it exciting. Everybody's talked about the young guys and the old guys, and that's not a bad thing, you know, but it's always happened. I mean, it was the same way, you know, we were worried, was the sport going to be able to continue when Cale and you and Richard were going to hang it up? You know, they were saying, who's going to take it from there? But it has moved on, and the sport itself is going to continue regardless of who it is. But we've got stars here now, and they're stars in front of a lot more people, but these guys have shown they can handle that, and I think they're going to do a great job of doing that.
This is sort of the holy land as far as stock car racing is concerned. And then you've been coming here for almost as long as I have. Yeah. What does Daytona mean to you?
You know, when I think of Daytona, I mean, I think the first thing that comes to my mind is being here as a kid and watching my dad race, standing on the back of our station wagon. I can remember Glenn and I stand there and then watch my dad run out of gas leading the Daytona 500. Oh, and so, you know, there it was. I knew then how big it was because I could see the disappointment on his face after that was over.
And when he talks about that, and I was a kid growing up watching races, that 93, watching that Daytona 500, having his dad call that race.
You know who I'm pulling for? It's Dale Jarrett. Bring her to the inside, Dale. Don't let him get down there. He's going to make it. Dale Jarrett's going to win the Daytona 500. Oh, can you believe it?
Never met the guy, never knew his dad, and sitting there as a fan, and that was the year just before I started racing. You get caught up in it. I mean, there's probably tears running out of my eyes watching him cross the line in front of Dale Earnhardt, who was my favorite driver. Yeah. And you get caught up in the emotions, and it just gets further and further back. The more time you spend here, the more you realize how big and how much this sport has developed. But Daytona, it captivates you. When you come through that tunnel underneath, it's Daytona.
The tunnel does it, doesn't it? That's one thing I think we've all got in common. You come through that tunnel and you come up out of that hole and you say, oh my gosh.
With Jeff Hammond as a crew chief, you've won here. Doesn't matter, Daytona 500, 400, even 100. It's a special place. It means a lot.
Those guys right there, they understand what it's all about right now, Chris, because you've got to have respect for this place. And yes, I've won here. I've lost races here. I've pulled drivers out of race cars and bad wrecks here at Daytona. This place is all about respect. You've got a special place in your heart whenever you can beat this place. I mean, it's the birthplace of speed, and everybody knows if you want to be successful, you've got to be able to win at Daytona.
One of the reasons such a great crowd here on a regular basis whenever they do races, racing has evolved into a team sport, the dominant team when it comes to super speedways. Dale Earnhardt Incorporated, DEI, in the last 6 restrictor plate races. Earnhardt Jr. has won 3 times, Michael Waltrip once. Dale is standing by with our Matt Yoakum. Matt?
Chris, 1 year ago, Dale Earnhardt Jr. used an all-star game theme to end a 40-race winless streak. Jr., another all-star game theme, 7 races since your last win at Talladega. What are your odds tonight to pull it off?
I think we got just as good a chance as we did last year. We won 3 out of the last 4 restrictor plate races, so we're definitely one of the favorites. Got a lot of stiff competition, more so than we've had in the past. Michael's got a great car. We got our buddy Steve Park up to speed here, and hopefully DEI will be up front all night long. One of us will get the win. We'll take the money back.
Now, you know, your teammate there, Michael Waltrip, you two, over the past 6 races, have combined to finish first and second 3 times. You've got 2 wins. Michael has 1. He said yesterday it's his turn to even up the score, and he does start right in front of you on the grid.
Yeah, well, he is due, and he's making a great charge up through the point standings, so it'd be great to see him win a race tonight. I told him, man, I'm dedicated to him. Whoever's out front at the end, with 20 to go, we're not going to, we're not going to do anything that's going to hurt a chance to win for DEI. So if he's leading, he's leading. He tries to win the race. That's great. If I'm leading, he's going to help me. So, that's what teammates are for. So it's worked out so far over the last several races, and we'll try to do it again tonight.
Driver 8 starts 9th tonight. Dick Berggren.
Well, restrictor plates, Michael Waltrip. They go together so very well. Winner of the 2001 Daytona 500. Second in this race last year. 5th in this year's Daytona 500. Got a good starting position tonight. Got a good car. Can you win it?
Yeah, I love this car. It fits like a glove, Dick. I get in it, and I just feel like I'm going to be successful. The thing is running great. We didn't get any race practice, which I think is an advantage for us because the car was so good here in February, and I just got spun out later. I think I could have won that race, too. Got my teammate behind me, giving away a free hat if you go to Napa and buy $40 worth of parts. Is that something or what? We're just doing it all right here on a Saturday night in Daytona. I'm so proud to be a NASCAR race car driver. This is a great feeling with all the electricity in the air. I think I've had too many regular Cokes. I need to get a Diet Coke. I'm a little bit caffeined out here.
Good luck tonight, Michael. Let's go to Chris Myers.
All right, could he get one more sponsor in? It's unbelievable. They're
Never miss a chance.
They're going to drop. That's his job. The mandatory caution flag in about 20 to 25 laps here.
Yep.
Briefly, why is that?
Yep. We didn't. NASCAR, like I said, didn't have any chance to have a last practice, so he's giving these guys an opportunity to come in with a mandatory pit stop or a caution flag, so the guys can look at tire wear and how their cars are doing, and make minor adjustments.
$4.5 million up for grabs. 5 Pepsi 400s have been settled by a last lap pass, so we could be in for a dramatic night. There is the pole sitter, Kevin Harvick. Jeff and I will be here throughout the night. Thanks for watching the Singular pre-race show. Getting ready to crank it up and go racing as the fireworks will continue here on this 4th of July weekend. Racing coming your way on Fox in just seconds, so don't go away.
NASCAR on Fox welcomes you to the world center of speed, Daytona International Speedway, just inland of Daytona Beach, where every 4th of July weekend since 1959, stock car faithful have come here with their beach balls and their flags. The event now known as the Pepsi 400. 43 Winston Cup drivers set to roll, set to join the ranks of 5-time winner David Pearson, 4-time champion of this race Cale Yarborough, Bobby Allison, Richard Petty, Fireball Roberts, who each won it 3 times, 4 drivers with 2 victories and 17 with 1 apiece in this great summertime racing classic, which now races under the lights. Let's go to Speedway President John Graham.
Who's that?
Ladies and gentlemen, now would you please rise for the presentation of colors by 200 men and women of the United States Marine Corps. And then please join Boy Scouts Mike Bosse, Chris Harvey, Michael Kingston, Christopher Morris, and Jack Stivers in our Pledge of Allegiance. And now, with the great American song that she recently sang at the White House, Miss Jessica Simpson.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with
Jessica Simpson, ladies and gentlemen, and let's also hear it for the U.S. Marine Corps with that great presentation of colors. Our invocation by the Reverend Hal Marchman.
Let us pray. We pray today because this is your world, O God, and we are your people, and we are gathered here to celebrate the birthday of our great nation. We pray that you will bless all who participate, and may this be the highlight of this night. For we pray knowing that you are our God and we are your children. Shalom and amen.
And now to honor America, two-time Grammy winner, Hidden Beach recording artist, Darius Rucker.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Darius Rucker, ladies and gentlemen, and providing our flyby of 4 F-16s from the 78th Fighter Squadron from Shaw Air Force Base. Flight lead, Captain Craig Wynn. Maintenance Officer, Lieutenant Eric Reagan. The Majestic Eagles, Phoenix and Sequoia, join us tonight from SeaWorld Orlando. And now for the most famous words in motorsports, the Grand Marshal of the 44th Pepsi 400, Jessica Simpson.
Drivers, start your
It's the traditional midpoint of the Winston Cup season. And amidst a tight point battle, any one of 7 drivers could leave here with the point lead in what has traditionally been one of NASCAR's most unpredictable races. The Pepsi 400, next on Fox.
First thing I remember, I am walking down the street. I'm feeling all right. I'm with my boys and with my troops. And down along the avenue, some guys were shooting pool, and I heard the sound of acapella groups, yeah, singing late in the evening, and I blew that room away.
Hi, I'm Dan Vukovic from Pepsi-Cola. Welcome to the Pepsi 400 here on Fox for the world's largest nighttime sporting event. We're in for an exciting race and can't wait to get started. So on behalf of the employees of Pepsi and our bottling partners, enjoy tonight's race.
Welcome to Daytona International Speedway as the field moves out on the first of 3 pace laps. before racing 160 laps, 400 miles from dusk into nighttime on this 2.5-mile tri-oval super speedway. Hi everyone, and welcome to Daytona. Mike Joy with Larry McReynolds and 3-time Winston Cup champ Darrell Waltrip. Cale Yarborough led all but 18 laps in winning here. Jimmy Spencer led just the last lap. Cale won this race by 2 laps. Bill Elliott won it by 18 inches. It's so unpredictable, and it's so much fun, Darrell, except maybe for those 43 drivers out there that haven't had a lot of practice. And it's Daytona. It's restrictor plate racing.
What's that song? Are y'all ready for this? Because that's exactly how I feel. The thing about it is you've got to get up there and get amongst them. And these cars have not had any drafting practice. So there's setup issues, there's handling issues, there's all kind of issues that we're going to have to sort out in the early going. But the biggest problem is you don't want to get in trouble doing until you get those things sorted out.
So, Larry, how do you sort them out without the benefit of any drafting practice after qualifying?
Well, I mean, I love your word unpredictable, but from a crew chief standpoint, I'm going to go with the word unknown. Like Darrell said, these cars have not been on the racetrack since they qualified. Can you go back to last year's notes from a year ago? No. The rules are different. Can you go back to your Daytona notes? Yes, you can, but this track is much slicker in the hot temperatures here in July. So you basically, you throw your best package at it from your February notes, but you know you have to make adjustments. But I can't tell my driver, feel it out, because if you feel it out, they're going to be lapping you pretty quick here. You can't back off.
If you want a night of unpredictable action, you've come to the right place. Let's go trackside to Steve Burns.
Mike, Jeff Gordon has 4 wins here at Daytona. He's one of 5 drivers that could win $1 million bonus if he can win. Well, crew chief Robbie Loomis says they've taken this number 24 car to the wind tunnel not once, but twice for a total of 16 hours at $2,000 an hour. Do the math. They want to win this $1 million bonus. Let's go to Speedway Illustrated's Dick Berggren.
Yeah, but to win it, they're going to have to beat Dale Earnhardt Jr. During driver introductions, this audience went absolutely berserk when his name was mentioned. He is the favorite. He has won 3 of the last 4 restrictor plate races. He's smart, he's cool, he's extra good at places like this. To Matt Yoakum.
Dick, the last time Pontiac won a points-paying race at Daytona, Ronald Reagan was running for re-election. Tony Stewart has 2 Budweiser shootout victories, but remember, tonight he's racing with a couple unknowns. He only completed 2 laps back in the Daytona 500 with engine failure. They've gone back to their 500 notes without any final practice session, but they're still unsure how those notes will react tonight because they only had 2 laps back in February. Mike?
Budweiser, official beer of NASCAR, is proud sponsor of the Bud Pole Award, given to the fastest qualifier at every NASCAR Winston Cup race. Kevin Harvick is a first-time Bud Pole winner, and he joins these other drivers in the Bud Shootout of 2003. Since 1979, Anheuser-Busch has awarded more than $7 million as title sponsor of NASCAR's Pole Award program. Let's move to our Walmart starting grid. Kevin Harvick, first pole, and Jeffrey Bodine in only his 3rd start of the season, former Daytona 500 winner, on the front row. Jeff Gordon, 2-time winner of this race. Robbie Gordon, no relation, looking for his first restrictor plate triumph. Dale Jarrett has 4 Daytona wins. Johnny Benson, top 10 in February, led a lot of it. Michael Waltrip, 4 top 5s in the last 6 restricted races with his teammate Steve Park and his teammate Dale Earnhardt Jr., who we've talked about, right behind, along with the fastest Dodge in the field, young Casey Atwood. Veterans Bobby Hamilton and Ricky Rudd looking for his first Daytona triumph. Mike Wallace with Bill Elliott, a 4-time Daytona winner. Kenny Wallace and Jimmy Johnson, the pole winner, fastest qualifier back in February here. Brett Bodine, 9th last July, and Mark Martin, one of those No Bull Million bonus cars. Ken Schrader has 20 top 10s at Daytona, and Sterling Marlin, the point leader. Bobby Labonte, 5th here last July, and Kyle Petty, fresh off that 3,500-mile charity ride. Mike Skinner won both Daytona poles in '97, and Todd Bodine, who competed last night in the Busch race. Jimmy Spencer, who won this race in '94, leading only the last lap, and Ricky Craven, another No Bull car. Shauna Robinson, the only female in the field, and Kurt Busch, who was 4th in the Daytona 500. Tony Stewart, just 2 laps in February here, but he has 2 top 10s, and Dave Blaney in a Ford. Elliott Sadler, 3rd here last July after starting 38th with John Andretti in a Petty Dodge. Stacy Compton's Pontiac and Hunt Strickland's Dodge in row 17. Jeff Burton, the 2000 winner of this race, and Terry Labonte, 2-time series champion, Then the provisional starters. Rusty Wallace has not won Daytona in 38 starts, maybe tonight. And Matt Kenseth, another no-bull car. Ryan Newman in the same car. He raced to 7th here. And Jeff Green. Ward Burton, the Daytona 500 champion, had trouble with the cowl intake in qualifying. He's there with Jeremy Mayfield, a pair of Dodges. And last night's winner, tonight he's last row Joe Nemechek, an unexpected spot, but he anchors the field. 43 cars, 160 laps, 400 miles, 100 miles less than we race in February.
Yeah, the pit window is 50 to 55 laps. You can make this on 2 stops, 160 laps. You want to be full of fuel. You don't want to be out there and have to pit on the green by staying out and not pitting. Tires are not that critical, but they can definitely make you handle better.
Oh, yeah. If I get an opportunity, I'm going to come and get me 4 tires almost every time.
There's our weather. A lot of rain here yesterday, and that was what ruined any chance of final practice for these cars. When they practice before qualifying, they do it 1 car at a time so that their runs are not wind-aided by the draft of another car. So they have not been out there in anger amongst groups of cars in practice. In fact, not since they were here in February for the Daytona 500. Lights out atop the pace car as we get set to go racing. For those of you just joining us from baseball on Fox, welcome to Daytona International Speedway, where the Pepsi 400 is about to go green.
Oh, yeah, and this is a tense time. This when the crew chief is talking to the driver, and he's telling him, now be patient here. And the driver's sitting in there all fired up and got fire coming out of his eyes, and he can't even hear what the crew chief's saying about being patient.
I'm not going to talk to you after we take the green flag. Very little. I'm going to leave it up to that spotter, because I know you're going to be out there in packs of 20 cars running 3 wide. Pull your seatbelts tight one more time, because we're going for a ride for 400 miles.
That's right. Besides that, I don't have time to talk to you.
Can Jeff Gordon get his first win of the year? Can Johnny Benson get his first win ever? Can Jeffrey Bodine from the outset pull off an upset? We're ready. You're ready.
And here they come. And we're coming down here, folks. Got them tight. Got them belts tight. Flagman's got that green flag in his hands. Here we go, folks. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Boys, take her down in the first turn.
Jeff Gordon on the start of the race in the 24 car, he looked like he almost got knocked below that yellow line. You heard Jeff Hammond in the pre-race talk about the out of bounds. You can't be below that yellow line anywhere around this racetrack.
And the thing about it is you can't be patient if you're middle of the pack back. You've got to get up in there and get after them because you want to get with some cars that are fast.
2 wide, middle of the pack, 3 abreast in the back of the pack.
This is the eye of the storm. That's what you got to watch for right there. That's where the action is.
And this racetrack is wide enough to run 3 wide. It's wide enough to almost run 4 wide on the backstretch. The problem is on the exit of the corners, it's like running into a funnel. The racetrack narrows up.
Here they come as they exit off the corner. And what happens is the cars move around. When there's this many cars around each other, the wind is bumping the car around. You're 3 wide. The wind catches the front of your car, lifts it up, and into the car outside of you go.
And the longer we go on the run, everybody's on fresh tires right now, full of fuel. The longer we go into a run, the front end will want to turn less and less on the exit of the corner. That's when you get in trouble.
And what you'll find right now is all these drivers will work with each other right now. They'll squeeze up and let you in because they're all packed up there together. But as they start to spread out a little bit, you can't do that.
Tony Stewart, who completed only a couple of laps in February due to a blown engine, spins to the infield in the back straightaway. Caution.
On the Speedway.
Now, gentlemen's agreement, we do not race back. There's no rule that says you can't race back, but you can hack a bunch of guys off if you try to pass them.
Didn't tell this pack.
And here they come racing down here like the green flag's still out.
Kevin Harvick leads the 2nd lap and passes under the yellow flag, and the field will slow from 180 down to 70 miles an hour.
Now, where Tony Stewart only ran 2 laps because of losing an engine. Here he's wrecked before they even get to lap 2.
Now, what happens here is because some cars did pass with that yellow flag out, you'll be driving up beside a guy and shaking your fist at him, pointing your finger at him. Let's see what happened here.
Wow, he just turned right.
Looked like the car got down on the apron there just a little bit, and the back end came around.
Perhaps repairable damage, perhaps not.
Oh, he got hit. Yeah, there you go.
Was that Jeff Burton behind him?
And that's Matt Kenseth in the 17 car that they got together as well.
I was starting to say that he almost had to get hit from what we saw initially. Trouble, that's what happens when you have to start near the back of the field.
Let's ride with Tony Stewart just in front.
He never knew. He didn't know what happened. He never lifted out of the throttle. He was minding his own business. Got run over from the back.
Now, Larry, the damage looks repairable, but these cars are massaged so much in the wind tunnel. Don't know if he'll be competitive. Now, there's Stewart to the left as you ride with Sadler.
Yeah, Sadler was trying to squeeze in there. He got into the 17, bounced off him over into the 20.
There's damage on Sadler's car as well.
And this is a car that finished second in the Daytona 500 in February and third a year ago. But yeah, aero is so important here. You want to keep that front end. It has to stay just as clean as possible. We have some of the guys at the back of the pack taking advantage coming to pit road. Ricky Craven comes in, Kyle Petty, Elliott Sadler, of course, with damage, Jeff Burton in the 99, and Matt Kenseth in the 17 as well that we saw was involved in that with Tony Stewart.
And I don't care how minor it looks, Mike, when these cars crash at 190 miles an hour, it's a lot worse than it looks. Some of it's cosmetic, like this, but you do chassis damage as well, particularly if you get into the fence.
An airliner takes off at, what, 160 miles an hour? Would you want to take off when one that had damage looking like that? No thanks.
Here you see they're going to take Tony Stewart, the 20 car, behind the wall, but you better believe these guys will go to work on this car. He comes in here 5th in points, and in the last 6 races, he scored more points than anybody on the circuit.
Speedway, and this is MRN Radio in the morning.
Yeah, he had to be considered a pre-race favorite, but Daytona has not been kind to him this year. Out early in the 500, and now here he is out already in this race.
Stewart left Daytona in February, 43rd in the point standings. And he has climbed to 5th.
They were trying to push the car, and it just was so much damage you couldn't push it.
So caution out at lap 2. Want to welcome those of you joining from the Dodgers-Cardinals game. We're at Daytona International Speedway for the Pepsi 400, and we're under caution at lap 2. Elliott Sadler and Tony Stewart, last year's runner-up for the Winston Cup Championship, colliding on the backstretch. Both drivers okay. Damage to both cars. Stewart behind the wall. Sadler stays in the race.
Looking good, Jeff.
Hi, Rob.
Oh, hey, Miss Larson.
Linda will be down in a second.
Hi.
Nice caravan.
Thanks.
I used to have a van.
I can't believe my dad let you drive the Viper.
Yeah, what got into him?
Dodge Caravan, offering a power sliding door, a power rear hatch, and the kind of room you'll really dig.
Kimmy, let me handle this. Ma can be very persuasive.
No, Piggy, I want to do this my way.
What?
Dale, I know it's not that easy being you.
Oh, brother.
And I sure don't want to tell you what to do.
You're blowing it.
I believe we should all follow our own dream.
Oh, for the love of...
And that's why I think it'd be terrific if you just...
Just race the truck, Jarrett!
Take him down and back, please.
Oh, now that's a beautiful creature, Tom.
No doubt about it. This one has got champion written all over him. This could be the year for the standard.
Hello.
Oh, dear. That's definitely going to cost him.
Sign up for Singular Nation and never pay long distance, never pay roaming. Plus, get 3,500 night and weekend minutes. It's not for sale.
No.
Some things are just too good to let go of. That's why there's Valvoline Max Life, the first motor oil formulated for higher mileage engines. Max Life conditions use seals to help prevent leaks and helps you hold on to your car for a long, long time.
Don't even think about it.
Valvoline Max Life. And for a simple way to keep your tires looking great, use Eagle One Wet Tire Shine.
The Pepsi 400 on Fox is brought to you by the joy of Pepsi, the choice of Victory Lane. By Dodge, you can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. By Walmart, always low prices, always. And by Singular Wireless, never pay long distance or roaming again. It's a singular nation.
Welcome back to Daytona. Hallowed ground, Victory Lane. That's where Tony Stewart wants to be. This is not the way he wants to get there. He's behind the wall after being involved in a crash with Matt Kenseth and Elliott Sadler.
Here's what happens, Mike. Here's the 45 car up here. He gets up high, he gets shoved up out of the groove. Here comes the 17 back here. He runs up on the back of the 45. He's got to get out from behind him. He starts down. The 21's there. They get together. Into the 20 goes. The 21 car, he bounces off the side of the 17 car. There's your wreck.
Steve Burns.
Well, Mike, they're pretty confident they can get this Pontiac back in the race. Crew Chief Greg Zipadelli saying they're going to try to replace the nose, a partial nose, the right front of that Pontiac, and get Stewart back in the race.
Fifth in the points coming into this race. A great comeback after running only a couple of laps in the season opening Daytona 500.
But Mike, that's what happens here. Usually thing is because somebody has to get out of the throttle and the other guy doesn't or can't in time to keep from running in the back of him. Takes an evasive move, usually causes a wreck.
You saw the damage to Matt Kenseth's car. He's sporting a new paint job. A lot of commemorative paint jobs here tonight, as Kevin Harvick has led all of the 5 laps so far.
See the Fox tracks there. Kevin Harvick bringing them slow to the restart. Started off about 55 miles.
Oh, yeah. There's cars running all over each other back in the pack here because of that terrible restart.
Kurt Busch locked up the brakes. That was the smoke you saw.
I think some cars got some front end damage. I think I saw a couple of guys bounce off each other.
There you see it's going to be about 145 miles an hour. Enter turn 1. Now, you will not reach potential speed with the restrictor plate. You almost run a full lap and a half. Remember, they're wide open all the way around this racetrack.
Harvick brought them down so slow here to take the green that it bottlenecked everything up, backed everything up. A bunch of cars were running all over each other.
He should be about 70 miles an hour. That's just what the pace car speed is. So he was about 15, 20 miles an hour slower than the pace car speed.
Back when A.J. Foyt was racing, they called that a Texas restart.
There's a lot of names for it at the short tracks around the country, Darrell, as you well know. Dick Berggren on Elliott Sadler, who's involved in that crash.
Well, Sadler finished second in the Daytona 500. His crew chief is Pat Tryson. How badly wounded is the car in tonight's race?
It's not real bad, but it's, you know, for Daytona, it's bad. It's a motorcraft quality parts. Got a little fender bender there on both sides, so we had to work on both fenders. Got them the best we could for right now. We'll just have to see if we can hold on to the draft here for the first 20, 25 laps to get us that caution and work on it some more and try to make it a little better.
All right, thank you. To Matt Yoakum.
Well, Ricky Craven also pitted under that caution for a possible tire of it. Now, Mike Beam, do you have a possible engine problem?
I don't know. He said it just wouldn't go here at first, and, you know, we thought maybe something's in the cow, but it wasn't. You know, it run a fast lap right there, so hopefully we just come from the rear here and, you know, make it a good night.
This team is chasing $1 million tonight, 13th in points. It could be a huge night for the 32 team.
At the front of the field, a 10-car breakaway, and it includes all 3 cars of Dale Earnhardt Incorporated, which come in here as the favorites.
And they were single file for about almost a lap. And when you're single file in the draft, you will pull away from cars that's running side by side because they're back there disturbing the air for each other. But all of a sudden, these guys decide they want to start racing. If the other group gets lined up, they'll catch them in a hurry.
Yeah, it's hard to get away. You might get a little gap like we see now, but it's hard. There's a car up high going into turn 3.
Behind you. It's Johnny Benson.
Boy, Benson. Stay up there. Stay up there. Hold it up there.
Kent.
Don't come down.
Everybody gets...
Oh, man. Got another car smoking coming off the corner here.
Okay. Caution waving as they come to the line. And the car smoking is Kenny Schrader, Benson's teammate.
The 36 car.
Yeah, that's a. I think it looks like an oil leak on Schrader's car, like an oil line.
The oil pressure is still good. Oil pressure is still good.
He's got an oil line.
Came off Johnny's
Something came off of Benson's car, he says, and must have punctured an oil line. Now, I believe all of this havoc we're having here, this mayhem, is because we've had no practice. These cars have not been on the racetrack together like this all weekend long.
In NASCAR, they're going to give these guys a caution after they run about 20 or 25 laps to adjust their car, but right now we're only getting about 2 or 3 green laps of running.
Did you call the driver and tell him that? Because they don't act like it.
But how ironic and how unpredictable in this race that teammates go out in the same corner. Benson in the wall, piece off his car, hits his teammate Schrader.
Guess what happened here in February? Piece off of Michael's car. Oh, he looked like he got turned.
That's Johnny Benson up against the wall.
In February here, a piece off of Michael's car cut down Dale Jr.'s right front tire, teammates. That looked like, I'm not so sure he didn't get some help getting up there like that, Larry.
Yeah, there you saw the Schrader on the bottom, and there's Johnny Benson. Of course, just been back 2 or 3 races after being injured back at Richmond in a Busch Series race.
And broke a couple of ribs when he hit the turn 3 wall at Richmond.
And going into the 3rd turn there and get hooked though like he did and turned up into the wall, that's going to hurt. He's stunned.
Let's have another look here.
Yeah, they're coming down the back here.
There's Benson right there in the 10 car. He moved up.
No, he didn't move up.
Whoever the car right there got into his right rear.
That car moved down. I don't know why, but something caused that car, the outside car, to move down. That's kind of hard to tell who that was. But somebody clipped him in the right rear.
So Benson, who led a number of laps in the Daytona 500 and might have won it, one of several drivers who had a chance to win, is out early tonight.
That's the same look he had when he got out of the car at Richmond, Mike.
Schrader on pit road with the hood up with that damage from the Benson crash. Bobby Hamilton there. Hut Strickland goes by. Stacy Compton, Jeff Burton, Kyle Petty, and Terry Labonte are all on pit road. One more lap to clean up the second caution of the night, and we'll go back to green flag here in the Pepsi 400.
Well, here's what happened. Here's Michael right here. Michael's coming down the outside. He feels like he's going to get hung out to dry. 31 moves up, and here comes the 10 to go with him, and they collide. The 10's moving up a little. Michael's moving down a little. They come together, turns Benson into the fence.
I mean, one was definitely moving up, one was coming down.
Exactly, and they're just trying to get in the preferred line, taking up the same real estate.
Now let's go to Jeff Hammond for an update on Tony Stewart.
What they're trying to do right now with Tony Stewart's car, the reason why they brought it behind the wall, is he hit so hard it has taken all these support bars and pushed it in over close to the radiator and really messed up the shape as far as the front nose is concerned right here. Right here you see the support bars on our car. All these bars were crushed into the radiator, so they had to get these bars cut away to be able to bring the nose back out. And the reason for that is, here at Daytona, like any super speedway, you try to keep this arrow shape right here to make the car more aerodynamic so it can run through the air, make good downforce, make the car where it's got some speed. One other thing that's happened here is because of the front end so much damage, the air that comes over the hood was wrinkled. Cal was not able to get any air, so they had to get the hood fitted back up, so they thought it'd be best to go behind the wall to work to make all this stuff fit back up so they can make this shape. The only way they could do that was bring it behind the wall, cut everything away, and you see them right now, they're welding support bars back to the nose to make that area stiff enough so that at 190 miles an hour, Tony Stewart's got an opportunity to run in the draft.
Yeah, and Jeff, they only have one shot to get him back out there. One, it has to be safe, but he's going to find it hard to find anybody to run with, and he has to maintain a minimum speed of 55.89 seconds. They've been racing in the mid-48.
But based on what we've seen, Larry, getting this car fixed and getting it back out there could pay big dividends at the end of the night because they're wrecking left and right. Yeah. At least his is repairable.
Yeah, and Darrell, one thing I want to add, it doesn't seem that he's got any kind of suspension damage right now.
We're coming to green. We'll get speeds at the line to see if Kevin Harvick is again bringing them down for one of those Texas restarts.
It's already a little quicker. I'm pretty sure he got a call.
Green flag, green flag.
Started about 66 miles an hour. Going up through the gearbox now. Probably came down there in second gear, grabs third, then grabs high gear. 115 miles an hour to start-finish line.
That lead draft is 40 cars long. That's how many cars are on the lead lap as Ken Schrader restarted on the inside because he is 1 lap down. He started alongside the leader and is trying to get his number 36 back on the lead lap.
He has the help of fast race cars. Jeff Gordon in the 24 car, Dale Jarrett in 88, that inside line lined up behind him. I mean, look how close these guys are running. And this is getting up to almost 185, 190 miles an hour.
That's why we wreck. When you race that close together, just one little slip, and you're into the guy, and you're 180 miles an hour, and you wreck.
Kevin Harvick has led all 13 laps so far. But Dale Jarrett has pushed Jeff Gordon into the lead.
24 races without a win. I believe Jeff Gordon's going to be up on the wheel tonight, guys, because he can win this race. He's got a good race car. This would be a good race for him to win.
The man on the move, though, is Rusty Wallace. That number 2 Ford started 37th and climbed up to 11th place in just 2 laps. He's up to 9th now.
And he was fast in practice before qualifying. They were pretty much scratching their head. I talked to his crew chief, Billy Wilbur, and they just could not figure out why they lost so much time when they went to qualify.
You can come from with restrictor plates. Starting in the back is not a problem. You got a fast car, you can drive right to the front because you're drafting off every car you come to.
Interesting that Dale Earnhardt Jr. has now won all the restrictor plate races.
Still there.
Except the Daytona 500. That's the one where you have to give up your car for a year to Daytona USA. He's won all the others. He gets to keep running the same car.
It might not be all bad.
It's a great problem to have.
Yeah. Yes. Like I said, it's good news, bad news. Good news, you won the race. Bad news, they're going to take your car away from you.
His teammates, Michael Waltrip in the 15 and Steve Park in the 1 in that lead pack.
Kenny Schrader in the 36 car, he got caught in the middle. He's up there trying to get that lap back. He's going to fall back to about 7th or 8th position on the racetrack.
The 09, a car we don't see often, but when we see it, it's up near the front. Jeff Bodine, the 1985 Daytona 500 winner, finished 3rd in this year's 500 in this James Finch-owned number 09 Ford. Pulling up alongside the Bodine's white Ford is that silver Dodge of Sterling Marlin, our point leader.
Just hope Sterling can keep all of his fenders straight tonight.
Him and Rusty Wallace in the 2 car, they're starting to work that high group. There, see Mike Wallace in the 33 pulling up behind him as well. Now they have Harvick in the 29 caught in the middle. What he's listing for right now is the spotter safe, clear behind somebody.
He's not doing that on purpose. He's not going backward on purpose. Whoa, he just about got in trouble right there off going into turn 3. He and I believe that's Todd Bodine, or
here it goes.
Trouble. Car.
Hard in the wall goes Mike Wallace. Scoots across into the grass, and half the field goes to pit road to take evasive action as the caution flag flies for the 3rd time in just 17 laps.
We do have a pit road speed, but when something like this happens, it don't matter. They're doing what they need to do to try to stay out of trouble. You almost could see that starting to happen way back in turn 4.
This is like deja vu all over again as far as I'm concerned. The wrecks here are. The hits just keep on coming, guys.
Watch the white 33 of Mike Wallace, white with a blue roof. In the outside lane.
That 31 car is really probably what caused this problem.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. in 8 just slides up in front of him.
People are having to slow down and take evasive action because there's a car up there high trying to get back in line. Somebody checks up just a little bit and you get tapped from behind.
And as the field accordion, it'll look like Steve Park got into the back of Mike Wallace and turned him around.
See Park there. Boy, everybody in that crowd right there. Oh, man, that car almost tipped over.
All 3 wrecks have been where somebody has clipped somebody with fender to quarter pounder.
Just not quite enough room to get in line.
Let's watch it with Fox Tracks to show Mike Wallace's speed.
184 miles an hour, slowing down just a little bit right here as he pulls up on the back of Sterling Marlin. There you see he clips the wall running almost 150 miles an hour.
Man, boy, I tell you what, that's a great job on everybody's part to not get any more cars involved.
There's a lot of cars coming at him.
Mike Wallace in a part-time ride for Andy Petrie Racing that they hope to turn into a multi-race deal, colliding with Steve Park, whose option was not picked up by Dale Earnhardt Incorporated on the June 15th deadline. So Park is hoping to stay with this team or get picked up by another for next season.
Well, there's a lot of talk about Sam Hornish Jr. coming in from the IRL series, and I tell you, that's a lot of talent right there from what I've seen in the IRL.
We saw him at Richmond the other Saturday night. Saturday night, he just blistered him in the last couple of laps. 3 caution flags in just 18 laps to start the Pepsi 400. The fireworks have come early here at Daytona.
I still think some of the problems on these guys clipping each other, and we've seen that a lot this year, is the big headrest that we run now. The pits are still closed. That's what that flag means. These big headrests, the Hans device, the Hutchins device, I think it's really limiting the amount of peripheral vision that drivers have. A lot of them have little mirrors there now on the side so they can see down the side of the car.
And I see a lot of our leaders coming to pit road right here. A little surprised. I know we're on lap 18, but only half of those laps have been run under green, but pretty much the whole field has hit pit road, Steve Burns.
Jeff Gordon in. There will be no chassis adjustments to this 24 car of Jeff Gordon. 4 tires only. No chassis adjustments. Jeff likes the way the car is handling. Let's go to Matt Yoakum.
And Dale Earnhardt Jr. pits. He's only going to take on fuel. The 88 car of Dale Jarrett pits. He will take on 4 tires. No major adjustments. He only pitted because he was going to wait and see what the 24 did. Jarrett, though, is going to lose a lot of track position. This is the 31, Robbie Gordon. Look, he had that damage right there. I mean, that's what happens on pit road on Daytona. We end up with 35 to 40 cars on pit road at one time.
And they can't work on it right there because they're not in their pit stall.
There's obviously the car that he got into, Todd Bodine, in the 26. They're pitting right behind each other, right next to each other.
You know, if this was happening at the end of the race, I could understand it. But everybody's racing like this a 10-lapper.
A lot of damage to Todd Bodine's Ford. And there you see the corresponding damage to Robbie Gordon's Chevy.
He'll bring that back in, just put it on the card, I guess.
Kurt Busch is also in for an extended stop for left front damage to his Ford. So all these cars that spent 100 hours or more in the wind tunnel being so carefully massaged, a lot of them are bent up.
The Pepsi 400 on Fox is brought to you by Visa, the official card of NASCAR.
The green flag is just waved to start lap 21. We've had 3 cautions in the early going. Matt Kenseth into Elliott Sadler, into Tony Stewart. Michael Waltrip and Johnny Benson got together. And then Steve Park tipped Mike Wallace around. Those are the 3 caution flags. Let's go to Johnny Benson's update. Dick Bergman.
Now, before Benson left his car, he told the crew find somebody else to finish the race. He had no intention of doing that. The crew is working on the car. His crew chief, James Ince, has just left the care center behind me. How's Johnny doing?
It appears that he's okay. They're doing some precautionary chest x-rays based on the wreck we had earlier this year at Richmond, and I believe he's all right. He got the wind knocked out of him pretty hard, and they're going to run these tests to make sure everything's perfect. And the only thing I know is he's done for the evening. I'll go back and see if we can fix the car, and I don't know if we can find a relief driver or not to put back in, but boy, it's tough racing at Daytona.
Yeah, they thought they had a good car. Maybe a shot to win this thing, man.
Now, Dick, 5 drivers stayed on the racetrack and did not pit, so they're up front. Jeff Burton, Bobby Hamilton, Jeremy Mayfield, Terry Labonte, and John Andretti. The first driver who stopped in that line at the restart was Dale Earnhardt Jr., who took on fuel only.
And that's not a bad call. I just had talked about before they come to pit road, they only had about 8 or 9 laps on their tires, so those tires really were still in good shape. But wanting to get that fuel in there where they know they can make a 50 or 55 lap run, don't look like we're going to have to do that based on the first 18 laps.
No, but I tell you what, we're getting so many cars knocked out here. They're going to get spread out all over the place. I think that things will settle down here very shortly.
Kurt Busch obeys a black flag, a signal to come to pit road for attention or penalty. Tell you who's coming hard is Ricky Rudd.
Right here, about 5 away.
As Busch makes the penalty stop.
And the reason he was black flagged is because he run the stop and go paddle at the end of pit road under caution. There's a man down there with a paddle that says red stop, green goes, and he had flipped it to red because the field was coming, and he didn't beat the paddle man.
I think that'll cost him a lap.
Yeah, he's
plus time.
He's going to hold him there for until the leaders go by, it looks like.
Ricky Rudd, the Sonoma winner, on the outside, coming up against Jeff Burton for the lead.
Now, it's not that Jeff Burton and Bobby Hamilton in the 55 car, it's not that those guys have not pitted during this race. They actually were all in under that second caution around lap 10 or 11.
And right now, I know that the crew chiefs, the spotters, and everybody are talking to the drivers saying, hey, guys, let's settle down. We've got a long way to go here. But so many things happen here at Daytona that are out of your control. They truly are. The cars move. They go places you just don't expect them to.
We had a race here where Tony Stewart was in the front of the pack, got in a wreck, and landed on his teammate, Bobby Labonte, who had been running at the very end of the pack. No place is safe.
Yeah, one was running third, the other was running 29th,
right.
And they land on top of each other.
Go figure.
And their
caution is out. Pace car will pick up the field. And this is the caution that was talked about in the drivers' meeting at lap 25. Because the teams had no post-qualifying practice, NASCAR was going to give them a caution at or about lap 25 so they could come in and check on things. Check on tire wear.
Yeah,
make sure everything is tight.
Surprised.
No.
I mean, we've had 3 cautions. We've had plenty of chances to come in and work on the cars, put tires on them, everything else. I guess that, just doing what they said they'd do.
Yeah, I mean, normally what they would do, though, Darrell, when they talk about 20 to 25 and you have 3 cautions in the first 18 laps, is maybe when you have a 20-lap green flag run without a caution. And I don't anticipate very many cars coming to pit road because they were just on pit road, a lot of them 4 times.
Yeah, maybe those guys that didn't pit this last time, they might want to take a chance, but I believe what I've seen so far, I'm going to stay out front. I don't care if I do run out of gas.
The safest place is leading this race. And sometimes it's not safe.
Come on in. I can't hear you.
Mike Wallace has taken his car to the garage. Damage incurred in the 3rd caution. Johnny Benson, 2 cracked ribs after that collision with the turn 3 wall, and perhaps, as James Ince pointed out, residual effect of his hard crash into the wall driving Ted Marsh's Busch car at Richmond.
Yeah, he was walking very gingerly as he got out of that car and into the ambulance.
Pit road's open, and no takers at the front of the field. How about we take a pit stop? And we'll be right back with the Pepsi 400 on Fox.
Welcome back live to Daytona and the Pepsi 400. And this track fact is brought to you by Taco Bell. The construction here back in 1957. First Daytona 500 won by Lee Petty in 1959. The first night race at Daytona won by Jeff Gordon. And, of course, the all-time Daytona race winner, Dale Earnhardt, with 34 wins. Taco Bell wants to remind you to think outside the bun. We had 3 caution flags. Jeff Hammond inside of 17 laps here. Now we're in our 4th caution. And do you think this has a lot to do with the limited practice time?
Yes, I do, Chris. I think that a lot of these teams right now, a lot of these cars that are getting in these problems are just off that little bit because they think they need to get to the front in a hurry. A little bit too much impatience and not knowing what the cars are going to do are creating some of these problems.
Jeff Burton, currently the leader. He won the Pepsi 400 in 2000. Tony Stewart, one of the pre-race favorites, went out in a hurry. And down below here where we are at Victory Lane, as they continue to work on the car, he has remained in the car while they've worked, and he is steaming mad over that earlier accident that he thought Elliott Sadler possibly made a poor decision on.
Well, I'm not going to say he knows it's Elliott Sadler was the cause of it. By now, I'm sure he has. But the thing I think about right now, Tony has raced so hard to get himself back in contention in his points and get taken out so early. You can see the frustration on his face, the whole crew, but they worked very diligently to get this car put back together right. We talked about it earlier. When they go back on the Speedway, if they can't maintain minimum speed and keep up with the pack, they'll have to bring it in. They're not going to be done. So they're trying to make sure it's right. Greg Zippendale and the guys are just about finish up repairs. They're trying to make sure everything's taped up, sealed up, and ready to go.
And Tony did a great job after disappointing last in the 500 to work his way back up through the points and is very frustrated here. The pole sitter, Kevin Harvick, having some problems. Let's check in with Steve Burns on that. Steve?
Well, Chris, earlier we talked about how Jeff Gordon's car had been at the wind tunnel to find an aerodynamic advantage. Well, Kevin Harvick sat on the pole, and Gil Martin, you guys were just lucky to get this car done in time to get down here.
Yeah, I tell you, this Goodrich Chevrolet's had a lot of different sheet metal on it this year. It started the year off as a singular car with Robbie Gordon here in February. We qualified 6th with it. And Talladega sit on the outside pole with it. And it's never seen a wind tunnel. But I tell you what, we got a lot of faith in our fab shop at home. Adam Meyer, Bobby Hutchins, those guys, they know exactly what they're doing. They've done it a long time.
All right, thanks, Gil. Let's go to Dick Berggren.
A few moments ago, at an incident on pit road, a collision. Todd Bodine's rear tire changer, Bill Kerwood, was hit. He has been taken to the infield care center. A spokesperson for the team said he's okay. He just got pinched. Crew chief Donnie Wingo is now changing front sides.
Thanks, Dick. We're set to go back to green. Jeff Burton, Bobby Hamilton, Ricky Rudd, who did not pit on that last caution, lead Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Sterling Marlin, along with Rusty Wallace, Dale Jarrett, and John Andretti. Now we're hearing on the in-car two-way radio communication that Jeff Gordon, instead of taking the green flag, may come to pit road.
He's talking about maybe possibly having a flat tire.
Pace car is in.
So is Jeff Gordon. He's on pit road.
Green
really
flag.
Gonna cost him.
Come on down, 1, 2, 3.
And Jeff Gordon thinks he has a flat left rear tire. Bill Elliott gave a visual from his car and confirmed it. Gordon is in. They will change left side tires on the 24 of Jeff Gordon. A flat left rear tire.
Darrell, you can do that without losing a lap, but you're a lonely man out there.
Yeah, he'll go a lap down if he doesn't get a caution, because you can't run by yourself. There's about a second difference in the lap times.
Gordon, the defending series champion, winless this year.
Right now, he's just getting up to speed in turn 1. The pack is over in turn 3. They will, as you say, Darrell, they will catch him in a hurry, especially lined up like they are.
Yeah, you're like you said, you're a lonely man. You back out there, and that thing was turning 7,000, 7,100 when you were in the draft. Now you're turning about 6,500 and thinking there's something wrong with it.
Gordon is half a lap down as Jeff Burton comes to the stripe.
Under that caution, a lot of guys at the back of the pack, they pitted. The only 2 cars in the top 20 was Jeremy Mayfield in the 19, Joe Nemechek in the 25 pitted.
If you're a Singular Wireless customer, you can be a virtual crew chief. From your phone, send the word Fox as a text message to number 151. Of 160 laps complete. Terry Labonte outside the 09 of Jeffrey Bodine. Behind Labonte, Kevin Harvick, rookie Ryan Newman, and rookie Jimmy Johnson.
And there's that sucker hole, and Harvick's trying to go right up in it. You know, he gets a little suck off that 5 car, and right up into the middle of those 2 cars he goes, and that's not a good place to be.
We've got our interval Fox tracks here on Jimmy Johnson, the 48 car. You see right now he's about 2 1/4 seconds behind leader Jeff Burton. If that group can get lined up and quit racing 2 and 3 wide, then they could catch that group, and you'd be able to see how quick they could catch it.
Darrell, you're right. You don't often see people move forward up through the middle.
Oh, you'll think it's the way to go. You'll say, man, I got to run here, I got to run. All of a sudden, it's like, oh, what happened? And not only that, you got cars on both sides of you banging into you.
There's the lead pack. Single file, and there's Mike Skinner in the number 4, the man stuck in the middle. Whoa.
See what happened?
Whoa, contact first with Blaney and almost with Johnson.
That's all arrow. That car shoved up by itself. He had no control over that car whatsoever.
And that's what we also talked about, Darrell. You can do the 3 wide or 2 wide. There you see Tony Stewart in a 20 car. He's going to be back out on the racetrack. He's going to be 30 laps down with hopes that as attrition takes a roll, he'll be able to move up some positions. But that racetrack just narrows down, especially how tight the exit is on turn 4.
Now, you hear these drivers week in and week. Y'all folks, y'all heard them talk about, well, I got back in dirty air. Where do you think these cats are in right now?
Pretty dirty air.
This is filthy air here.
Steve Burns with an update on Jeff Gordon's problem.
And Mike, this is the left rear tire that came off of Jeff Gordon's tire. They sprayed a circle here. You can see bubbles. It's a cut or a puncture on that left rear tire of Jeff Gordon.
Fortunate that Gordon caught it under caution and not once he got up to speed.
But what the problem is, right now, he's out there running like 49 flat, 49.20s, and the leaders is up there running 48.30, so he's losing 3/4 of a second to a second left. You see the Fox tracks right here, his miles per hour, 181 miles an hour in turn 3. The leaders are running 186 in the turn 4.
Let's get Fox tracks on leader Jeff Burton.
really starting to come around now. Larry, he's sitting there in second place and pretty content right now. Well, that's a great shot, isn't it? Holy cow, I'm ducking every time they go by.
I mean, you see all these cars now got lined up, now have their one big long line of cars, about 16 or 17 of them in a line. Well, that group behind them back there, Jimmy Johnson, the 48 right there, if they could ever get lined up, just, you know, just halfway, just quit slicing and dicing, they would catch that lead group so fast.
And as simple as we make it, oh, get lined up. Well, you just can't. I mean, you can't hold up your hand and say, pardon me, can I get in right here, please? I'd like to move over a little bit, if you don't mind.
It's like trying to get about 20 kids in the nursery to play nice.
Yeah, it just ain't going to happen.
Jeff Burton has won this race. He leads it. Dale Earnhardt Jr., also a former winner, the defending champion of this race. Let's go to his pit, Matt Yoakum.
Mike, the 3 DEI cars qualified 7th, 8th, and 9th. It chose pit stalls 3, 16, and 25. So in the old days, to converse without the other teams listening on the radio, they'd have to send someone running from pit stall to pit stall to pit stall. But starting with the Daytona 500 this year, they have an internet chat session. Angela Walker, the computer specialist at DEI, set up an instant message session. So all 3 teams, Dan Stillman here in the 8 pit, Slugger Labby in the 15, and Dave Charpentier in the 1, can talk back and forth strategy. Stillman said they're possibly looking at maybe 4 tires on that stop. Slugger Labby said possibly 2, and that way they can talk back and forth. The only problem, just like your cellular service, sometimes with so much usage in the area, they get knocked offline.
Now I've seen everything.
Yeah, that's pretty unique.
My man Van Colley be right at home with that. He'd be emailing everybody in the pit.
Well, it's like everybody started racing again. Now we have 1 pack of cars, and it's about 38 to 40 strong. Look at them. You're not right there.
You're not going to go anywhere.
Everybody but Jeff Gordon.
You're not going to go anywhere. The way these cars are, the balance of them, and the restrictor plate,
the importance of track position. Jeff Burton started 35th. There's Jeff Gordon, lonely guy. No date, Saturday night. Just out for a drive by himself.
It won't be by itself long. Look who's coming.
Here comes the rest of the field.
37 laps complete in Daytona.
Just walking through the doors of Daytona would have been enough. Oh, can you guys believe the embankment? It kept building on itself.
Think of the drivers who've driven across this line.
You keep topping what you did before.
You guys want to take this one for a spin?
Speed 125. Oh, man,
I like your Grand Prix. I like our Winston Cup Pace Car Grand Prix, but I really like my Grand Prix.
Pontiac Grand Prix, the official pace car of NASCAR for 31 years.
The Pepsi 400 on Fox is brought to you by the joy of Pepsi, the choice of Victory Lane, by Pontiac. Can you handle a Pontiac Grand Prix? By the Home Depot, NASCAR's home improvement warehouse, and by Midas Total Car Care. Midas, we do that.
40 laps complete, 1/4 distance. 40 laps, 100 miles in the Pepsi 400 at Daytona. First time in prime time on Fox. And Jeff Burton, who started 35th by not pitting on the last caution, has come to the front.
Now, Jeff Gordon's out there riding around 180 miles an hour. He ain't got a whole lot to do, so what do you think he's doing?
Looking for
debris.
He'd love to find out caution.
Pierre has got to be out here somewhere.
But I tell you what, he has a car in front of him right now, Robbie Gordon. If you can see a car, it's helping you. It's helping. He's breaking air. Robbie Gordon's out there, so this definitely will help Jeff Gordon for a few laps.
Yeah, not long though.
Robbie in a hurry.
Robbie's wounded.
Yeah, he's running 3.5 seconds slower than Jeff. Yeah, but he was some help.
Yes, absolutely.
Meanwhile, if Jeff just looks in his rearview mirrors, they're coming. Now, Gordon is still on the lead lap, but he's toward the tail end of it because Jeff Burton is bringing that fast train off turn 4.
Oh, and they are bunched up off of turn 4. Oh, this is ugly. UGLY. Better come up with an alibi.
And again, it's Mike Skinner in the middle. Ward Burton drops to the bottom, our Daytona 500 winner. And here's There's our points leader, Sterling Marlin, going for the lead to pick up those 5 bonus points for leading the race.
That could be, you know, could have made a deal with the 99. Let me lead, I'll let you back in front. But the way he went by, I'm not too sure that was the deal.
The DW, look at the 2 car up there, Rusty Wallace on the outside. Remember, he started back in 37th position, provisional land, and there he is in 2nd. And his teammate, Ryan Newman, in the 12th car, he was in provisional land at 39. He's up to 8. So, I mean, those 2 team cars didn't qualify good, but they're racing good. That's what Rusty told us the other day.
Yeah, they are. And I'm sure they're looking back saying, I'm glad I'm not hung up in that mess.
And from 6th on back, they've settled down to double file for the moment. Billy Kerwood, the tire changer on Todd Bodine's car, is being transported to Halifax Medical Center to have a look at his leg. Now, Todd and Robbie Gordon collided on pit road while Gordon was leaving his pit after a gas-only stop as Todd was pulling into his.
Got pretty wild down there for a little bit.
4 caution flags in the first 25 laps, one of them NASCAR mandated.
Now, 31 car, he's going to be right up in the way, and I know he'd like to probably stay up there and hook onto this lead draft, but I don't know if he can or not.
Because he's been running about 4 seconds slower because he's wounded. The front end of that car is all tore up.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. has lost a spot to Dale Jarrett. As you watch from Sterling Marlin back to Rusty Wallace. 1st and 2nd, Dale Jarrett. And you're riding with Dale Earnhardt Jr. Matt?
Mike, Dale Jr. just climbed from 6th to 5th. He says with cars on the inside, his Budweiser 8 Chevy is free on entry and it's loose up off the corner, but it's very decent up top. He says the car is especially loose off turn 2.
Hard to see it at these speeds, but Earnhardt Jr.'s car has horsehide baseball-style stitches running all down both flanks. A big bat along the side to help celebrate the Major League Baseball All-Star Game that you will see on Fox Tuesday night at the end of this long Memorial Day weekend, if you or 4th of July weekend, if you will. Tuesday night on Fox.
Now, if you watch Dale Jr., he's going to try to keep that car right on the bottom. But what's happening is the car is actually a little too tight, more than likely, and it pushes itself loose as it comes up off the corner.
And what also can be happening, and it's a challenge for the crew chief, Darrell, if that thing has any aero loose to it, you can't really fix it with chassis. You'll make it where it gets into the push loose because you tighten the chassis, but the body is aero loose.
And you'd like to put more spoiler on it. That would fix it, but it also would slow it way, way down on those straightaways. You can go up with the rear blade. 55 is the minimum. You can run 70 if you want to. And I have here in the 4th of July seen a car run a lot better when you added a little spoiler to it. It wouldn't be any faster, but it would handle better.
2 drivers on the move. Dave Blaney, the Jasper number 77, up to 11th after starting 30th. And our Daytona 500 champion in the 22, Ward Burton. Since starting 41st, he's climbed just outside the top 10.
But, Mike, you mentioned it earlier. You talked to his car owner, Bill Davis. They had a reason why they qualified bad. You have that cowl induction opening that forces fresh air to the carburetor, and it had collapsed. There's no wonder that they didn't qualify very good on yesterday.
And sometimes, Mike, you'll come down here and you'll give up a lot qualifying to have a good handling, good driving race car in the race. And that's critical the 4th of July here, as hot as it is.
Jeff Gordon out in front of the lead pack, in danger of going a lap down.
DW, you guys keep talking about the cars, the way they handle. I talked to Tony Glover earlier today, and our leader, Sterling Marlin, I asked him, I said, hey, you guys had a lot of success here at Daytona. What's the key in your mind? He says, getting off the turn 2, Jeff. He said, if my driver can run off the turn 2 wide open, he can set himself up to make passes and to keep people from making passes on him. We've already heard Matt Yoakum say that Dale Earnhardt Jr. is loose off that corner, so it's going to hurt him as far as moving up and being able to kind of move up through the field. He may be able to hang on. We can already see running that bottom groove. You can see Tony Glover right there. He's sitting over watching Sterling Marlin. He knows he's got that car working off the turn 2.
And the way they do that, Jeff, I remember down here a couple of times when they were with the 4 car, they pull the front fenders out. they get those front fenders pulled out there, particularly that left one, and you'd say, hey, that's going to slow me down, and that car will maybe not be as fast on the restarts, but it comes on as it gets into runs.
And what's good about that race car right there, they wasn't involved in the big one the last 2 or 3 restrictor plate races, and the more you can run a car, the more you learn about it, and the more you know what its characteristics are. So they know about that race car, what it needs and what it's looking for.
One other thing I think we go here is that he also said they've changed their setup. Ever since 1990, they used to run the same setup, but now with the way the new configurations are, the new rules, Tony said they have to constantly look for better ways to make their race car run up front.
Jeff Gordon is leading 1 second per lap to the lead pack. They're about to catch him and put him 1 lap down in the Pepsi 400 at Daytona.
The Pepsi 400 on Fox is brought to you by Budweiser, delivering beer at its best with the crisp, clean, and refreshing taste known only to the king of beers.
Jeff Gordon, a 2-time winner of this race, has been lapped. He made a pit stop just at the end of a caution period for a flat left rear tire. Stayed out in front of the pack for some time, but now he's been lapped, and he and Sterling Marlin got together a lap or so ago. Here's a look at it.
I'm thinking Jeff probably tried to block Sterling so he could get up there and run and try to stay in front of him. But you know what, Larry? You may or may not know this. I think you do. Dale Earnhardt ran a bigger bar in his bumper than most other guys did, just so when he bumped somebody like that, he didn't get his front end all caved in.
Absolutely, because you cave that front end, the day's over.
You saw those little flimsy bars that Jeff was showing you that most guys run up there to hold the nose in place, but a smart guy, he'll run a little bit heavier bar there just in case he wants to bump grab.
Sterling Marlin becomes the 4th different leader of this race after Kevin Harvick, Jeff Gordon, and Jeff Burton.
I tell you, a guy, one of those Robert Yates cars that qualified good, the 88 car, Dale Jarrett qualified 5th, and he's moved up to 4th position. I believe Matt Yoakum has a little information on DJ's car.
Well, Larry Mack, the 4-time Daytona winner, out of driver 5, has been quiet on the radio. The only thing that he has said is his temperatures have been climbing. The water climbed at 220. So since the car is running a little hot, he's had to poke out that nose to try to get a little air into that radiator, cool down that water every now and then to try to bring those temperatures down. And a lot of people, Larry, like we talked earlier today, had to guess a little bit about how much tape to use on the front of that race car since we didn't have a final practice session.
I mean, absolutely, that's a product of no practice, and you can't totally go back to your February notes because the weather was much cooler. You can't go back to last July's notes because with that strip across the roof, it changed the airflow through the grill. So there was a lot of crap shooting and guessing. You want to run as much tape as you can because that reduces the drag. So there's a lot of guessing going on front end tape.
Yeah, and the grill on the Ford, the nose right there where the grill is real laid back. So it doesn't see quite as much air as some of the other cars does.
Larry, keep talking about how we need to cool these race cars. One guy kind of dodged the bullet this week, or earlier today, was Michael Waltrip, guy running 2nd place right now. They actually cranked the car up, and just as they shut the engine off, they noticed that the radiator was spitting water out. The electric fan on the back side of the radiator had actually worn a hole into a brand new radiator. They had to change the radiator before they put the car on the line, and at least as far as right now is concerned, it looked like they took care of the problem. He dodged a big bullet. If they'd gotten out of that garage area without catching it, he wouldn't be where he is right now.
Yeah, and I think one of the things about Michael's car, Jeff, is the longer they run, the shock package, I know kind of what he runs in that car, and it'll take care of the tires better than some of these other guys' stuff will. The longer he runs, the better he gets.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., that Budweiser car, Dale Jarrett, the UPS car, they've been side by side. Rusty in the 2 car behind them, Rusty Wallace, he's trying to figure out which one of these guys is going to prevail. He'll move up behind Dale Earnhardt Jr., he'll move behind Dale Jarrett in 88.
You hear him lifting in and out of the throttle, too, just a little bit there.
You saw as he went up the racetrack how that squirreled up the 8 car in front of him.
Still there, still there.
These cars are hooked together. You just can't see it. They're hooked together by funnels of air, by tunnels of air. And when you go in and out of that tunnel, you move that car around.
14 cars are in that lead pack. As you watch from Michael Waltrip. Sterling Marlin, Waltrip in 2nd. Dale Jarrett, Dale Earnhardt Jr. side by side for 3rd, and Rusty Wallace looking on.
And these cars will just go back and forth. One on the outside will move up about a half a car length ahead. The one on the inside, they'll just go back and forth, back and forth. Can't quite make the pass.
You know what, guys? We've had our longest green flag run here, about 27 or 28 laps, and we have a typical Daytona now. We have about 3 or 4 packs out there. What's different from here, from Talladega? Handling is more of a characteristic here. It's more of the package. Your car has to drive good.
Turn 4, car hard in the wall, Kenny Wallace.
Caution is out.
Where's Jeff Gordon?
Trying to get back on the lead lap, no doubt. Caution out, leaders in turn 2. Now the leaders will not race one another, so here comes Gordon trying to bust his way through traffic.
Get by them if you can. Track's all clear.
That's Ronnie Field, Gordon's spotter.
I just don't believe Sterling Marlin will let Jeff Gordon have this lap back.
Everybody else will, but they tell you in the driver's meeting, let the leader keep the cars a lap down.
He's got a pretty good run, Darrell. I don't know.
But I don't think he can make it.
Sterling Marlin knows if he gives that 24 car a lap back, it'll haunt him later.
Yeah, you know what else will haunt him? Is his crew.
Run that extra lap. We're going to have to get 4 tires on it. What's your temperature? Any water to
Kenny Wallace.
25 a little bit loose.
He's got some left front damage there on the 24 car. See the sidewall and the left front tire all rubbed off? He got up against somebody. Pretty good, looks like.
I believe he got against Dave Blaney in the 77 on the backstretch.
Kenny Wallace cut down a right front tire, apparently. That's what propelled him into the outside wall at turn 4 to bring out our 5th caution of the night. Darrell, what Sterling Marlin did just that then, pinning Jeff Gordon a lap down, is something we were talking about in Michigan, about who you need to race and who you don't amongst those lapped cars.
Yes,
or
sir.
Tail end of the lead lap cars.
Sometimes it's okay to slow down and let a guy back because you know he can't beat you. But when you got somebody like Jeff Gordon, who was leading the race up, they had trouble. Don't let him have a lap back if you can help him.
I would have to say we just had talked about almost 30 laps on this run. We will see most of our leaders to pit road with 4 tires. Because from here, you could do it on one more stop as well.
And I'm sure there's lots and lots of guys that are thinking that very thing. Give me 4 tires, top me up real good here. Let me see if I can make it on one more stop.
This time by will complete 60 laps. 100 to go.
Because we've had so many cautions here early on. Now the field's bunched up again. We're going to have some pretty tight racing. But as they were spreading out there, you know, the racing is not so hectic. And you can start thinking about making it on one more stop.
Let me tell you what else is going to be hectic. We're going to have 35 cars all on pit road at one time. All the leaders. Dick Berger.
Rusty Wallace is going to take 4 tires in his car. He is very pleased with the way this thing is running and has called for no changes on it whatsoever. He has said, however, that in his opinion, the 88 Jarrett may have an engine problem. Wallace still in the pits right now. First of the leaders to Steve.
Well, Dick Sterling Marlin wants his car tightened up just a little bit. He'll get 4 tires, 1 pound out of the right rear, and a round-up wedge to Matt Yoakum.
Tony Urey Jr. is already hitting the lugs in the left front. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is down and away with a 4-tire change. He's not going to beat the 15 on. Dale Jarrett, the 88 car, was a little bit tight. He took a half a pound of air pressure out of both left side tires.
Pit stops completed. Michael Waltrip leads the charge off pit road. And trouble on our Daytona 500 pole sitter, the leading rookie, Jimmy Johnson.
Looks like they're working on the right front fender. Got some damage over there. Putting a Band-Aid on it, trying to.
Here's the 2 winners off pit road right there. Those DEI cars. Michael Waltrip in the 15, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in 8. We'll look at the race at the end of pit road. There you see the stripe.
And that's where they measure who beats who back onto the racetrack. That's where the field is frozen. We're under caution. We'll be right back.
The Pepsi 400 on Fox is brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horn. Dodge. By Smirnoff Ice, intelligent nightlife. By Napa Auto Parts. Napa, we keep America running. And by your neighborhood 7-Eleven store. Oh, thank heaven for 7-Eleven.
The 5th caution flag of the night came out of lap 59 when Kenny Wallace cut down a tire and hit the wall hard. Leading rookie Jimmy Johnson has damage to his car, and they're making repair panels down behind the pit wall. Steve Burns.
Well, Mike, as the crew works on the right front, a replacement piece for the right front, we'll talk to crew chief Chad Canals. Chad, tell us about the damage.
The 43 car checked up early on in that run, and Jimmy ran into him and knocked a big hole in the right front there. You know, we're concerned about losing too much track position, but we also got to get the car fixed.
We see the crew working on a replacement piece. Will you have to put it back on?
We'll kind of see what happens here. Jimmy's trying to talk to me here. We're going to see what happens here, you know, see how the car handles. We got most of the hole patched up, but, you know, we'll just have to see what happens. I don't know yet. How's that?
Let's go back upstairs to Mike.
Now, as the caution wave for Kenny Wallace in turn 4, let's ride with Jeff Gordon, who was trying to get a lap back from leader Sterling Marlin, and listen to his spotter, Ron Thiel.
The down caution's out for a wreck off the turn 4. One car incident. See if you can get back by them leaders.
All right, this is what you call a move of desperation by a guy that's won a lot of races. But I got to get by you guys. I got to get that lap back. And I'm sorry if it made you mad.
Excuse me, pardon me. Gotta go.
I've got to go now.
We're set to go back to green. At lap 63, Michael Waltrip leading Dale Jarrett. Waltrip's teammate, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Point leader, Sterling Marlin. So it's Chevy, Ford, Chevy, Dodge. Then Rusty Wallace, Jeff Burton, Dave Blaney in Fords, Bobby Hamilton, Mike Skinner in Chevys.
Well, if you were here last July, this could spell trouble for everybody with that 15 and 8 up front.
He's on the Fox tracks. Michael Waltrip, leading the race right now, brings him down almost 70 miles an hour. He saw Kevin Harvick back in 20th at home center at about 75 miles an hour. He was lagging back and getting a run.
The biggest mover on pit stops, that Robbie Reiser-led crew for Matt Kenseth. Kenseth came in 21st, came out 14th.
Yeah, but, you know, he's got a lot of body damage on the left side there from that earlier incident. They probably need to stop in the pits there and work on that a while.
A 2-lap penalty now on Kurt Busch, and the number 97 being held in the pits. And a correction on the earlier NASCAR report on injuries. Billy Kerwood, the tire changer, is being x-rayed at the care center in the infield. It was Johnny Benson, who with the 2 cracked ribs was transported to Halifax Medical Center. Well, fellas, it's our last Winston Cup race of the season on Fox. NBC TNT take over next week. No, we haven't done yet tonight.
Crank it up. 20,000 horsepower.
Wide open.
Fury of Winston Cup racing. 4th of July fireworks of a different kind.
Yeah, I don't know what you call that, but I call that music. I love it.
Big loser on their round of pit stops was Ricky Rudd, who came in 11th and came out 17th.
And then everybody else 2 by 2.
We need to document the reason they're holding Kurt Busch on pit road this time in the 97 car is he moved up the pit. He passed cars before coming to pit road.
And under caution, you cannot do that. Now here's Rugg trying to regain lost ground, and right behind him, the 25, last night's Busch Series winner, Joe Nemechek.
And he started dead last, but I found out why. They changed gears before qualifying, didn't put enough lubricant in the gear. He had a fast race car in practice, and he told me, watch me, I'll be good tonight.
Well, if he's anything like he was last night, he'll be awesome.
Kurt Busch has been released by the NASCAR officials back onto the racetrack. He is 6 laps down and without benefit of the draft.
And that's 2 penalties tonight. Remember, he ran the stop-and-go paddling earlier, and I think back to Lowe's Motor Speedway. Had a great race car, but had penalties on pit road.
He's just not getting the message yet. But nights like tonight, he'll get it sooner or later.
Teammates, Michael Waltrip and Dale Earnhardt Jr., who had finished 1-2 here in that order and in the reverse order.
This is deja vu right here, all over again.
Driving for the team started by the late Dale Earnhardt, who picked Steve Park as his first Winston Cup driver. And then Dale Jr. moved up from the Busch Series, and Michael Waltrip came aboard. Dale's widow, Teresa, now owns and runs this team, and has to be pleased to see 2 of her drivers out front at 68 laps.
Well, I'm particularly impressed with the job my brother has done the last several weeks, guys. I mean, he's been in the top 10 just about everywhere we've been the last several weeks. Now front tonight.
I tell you, Mike Skinner, that 4th car, boy, he shot the hole up through the middle without a lot of help. They were 3 wide. He said, boys, you're not peeing them in the middle here before we get to turn 3, and he shot the gap.
Sometimes you look around and see who you're racing with and decide maybe you ought to let off and let them go on.
5 cars trying to sprint away from the field. Behind them, about 25 trying to run them down. 70 laps complete next time by in the Pepsi 400 on Fox. .73 laps complete of 160. Michael Waltrip leading his teammate Dale Earnhardt Jr. in Chevrolets. Sterling Marlin, the point leader in a Dodge. Rusty Wallace, who's never won a big race at Daytona, in 4th in a Ford, and Dale Jarrett 5th. Let's go on board Sterling Marlin.
Hey, listen, we done got our 5 points now, done led some laps, so let's be smart here. And from what I'm seeing right now, we ain't going to have a heck of a lot of friends at the end. Unless some Dodgers make some big gains. So we need to find somebody that's going to work with us and be their buddy. All right.
What I like about that, I mean, that's good information for Sterling because it's something to think about at the end of the race. But I liked how calm he was, Mike. I mean, he's sitting there. He's not excited. I mean, the car obviously is doing a great job. And look at this.
Tony Santanicola, the engine builder. You know, Steve, why is he carrying a carburetor?
I cannot answer that question, but I can tell you this, that Sterling Marlin also told his spotter, Lauren Renier, go over to the 2 spotter and ask him why Rusty won't run behind us. The answer was that Rusty's running a little bit hot, so occasionally he'll dart from side to side just to get some air to the radiator.
Yeah, I mean, they build motors for several teams. They obviously have Sterling Marlin. They have Jimmy Spencer. You know, maybe what they're complaining about, the thing's missing or something, and they're anticipating maybe changing the carburetor would fix the miss. Maybe it feels like it's surging or something.
Yeah, and that's the standard answer from another car. When you ask them to run behind you, I can't. I'm running hot.
Well, the only Dodge that's in a position to help them is Ward Burton, the number 22 in 9th place. He's not near close enough to help Sterling. We've got a long way to go.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, folks, don't get comfortable now, because just because we're spread out a little bit here right now, I guarantee you things will pick up here in a little bit.
Guys, how about that yellow car on the bottom right there? Dave Blaney in the 77 car. I mean, this is a single car operation. Ryan Pemberton, the crew chief, they do use Jasper Penske engine, but I mean, he started back in 30th, and his best restrictor plate finish ever is 17th, and he's been running in the top 10 for the last 40 or 50 laps.
Well, I think the way we see Rusty's car running, Ryan Newman's been up there. They got the same power, and I think that's the key to their success here this weekend is that power they got under the hood.
Now here's Rusty, who started 37. He's up to 4th. Blaney.
4 lengths back. 2 wide behind you.
Blaney started 30th. He's up to 5th. Doesn't matter where you start here, does it?
Oh, no. Starting in the back is not a bad thing. It's kind of like coming up on the interstate and you got 5 lanes there to You just pick the one that's moving, and you just keep moving up through there till you get to the front.
Ryan Newman started 39th. He's 7th. Ward Burton started 41st. He's up to 9th.
I'm pretty impressed with Ward Burton. I mean, he's hanging in here, not in too bad a shape right now. Mark Martin's right in that mix.
Yeah, Mark's up to 9th, started back in 18th. Didn't sound real happy about his race car yesterday or the way it was running.
And what's happened here? This lead pack has now split. It's like an amoeba. It's divided itself in half. 5 in front, 5 trailing.
Of course, all these cars are on the lead lap with the exception of Jeff Gordon, the 24 car right there, who's fixing to be in the middle of this group. He's going to be sandwiched between teammates, Ryan Newman in the 12 and Rusty in the 2. Ryan made a good move there, though. He fell back in behind him. He didn't push the envelope on the exit of that corner.
Yeah, you know, he'd probably like to have worked with his teammate, but he couldn't. He was pinned down on the inside. But what we're going to see here for a little while now is the cars. Now we're going to see whose car really handles good. We're getting strung out here. We're going to make some long runs. It's who's got the best handling package now.
Well, Joe Nemechek told us after last night's win, he could have run off the corners on the bottom and on the bottom against the yellow line all the way down the straightaway, all the way around the racetrack. So if you can get a Busch Series car to do that, chances are somebody in the Winston Cup garage has figured out how to do the same thing if necessary. Let's go back to Steve Burns on Tony Santanicola.
Well, Mike, it may not be a big story. Tony, we got all excited watching you carry that carburetor, but there's no problem.
No, I always have a spare carburetor every race. I just forgot to bring it out.
All right, thanks for clearing that up, Tony.
Just happen to have one in my pocket.
Yeah, well, you know, we've been watching Sterling, and he certainly doesn't have a carburetor problem.
Well, you better believe as Tony walked behind every pit carrying that carburetor, he got all the team's attention saying, hey, look, they might have a carburetor problem.
And good news from Todd Bodine's crew. Billy Kerwood has been released from the infield care center. He is on crutches, but it appears that nothing is broken. So that's good news. Michael Waltrip, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and Sterling Marlin lead in Daytona.
The Pepsi 400 on Fox is brought to you by Pepto-Bismol. First aid for stomachs. Use as directed. By Ford. No boundaries. By Circuit City. We know how you feel. That's why we're here. Circuit City, we're with you. And by Rocky Mountain Cold Coors Light. Cold down easy.
Along with Jeff Hammond, Chris Myers, welcome back live to Daytona, and hope you're enjoying your holiday weekend here on Fox. Here is today's halfway recap brought to you by Coors Light. The pole-sitter Kevin Harvick led for the first 13 laps. He's not really been a factor since. That first 26 laps had 4 different cautions here. Jeff Gordon led for a while. Jeff Burton led for 23 consecutive laps. Even Sterling Marlin in there for a while. Now, Michael Waltrip, your leader, followed by Dale Earnhardt Jr. We mentioned at the top of the broadcast, and I've talked about it throughout the broadcast, the DEI cars. Dale Earnhardt Incorporated have won 4 of the last 6 restrictor plate races coming in. Jeff Hammond, do they put, and we say they, we mean DEI, more of an emphasis on racing here or restrictor plate racing to have such success?
I think that's pretty obvious right there, Chris, that they do. But I think one thing we're kind of like forgetting is what's the best way probably to miss the big one? Be in front of it. So if you've got cars that can go out front and lead a pack, the likelihood of getting caught back up in a big mess back in the back is less. So these guys figure that if they work on their cars, keep them up front, the less chance of getting caught up in the big one, and they're doing a really good job of that tonight.
Why don't more teams put the same kind of emphasis on it?
I think it's just a fact that they kind of like losing sight of that, and I believe maybe Matt Yoakman has some more insight on it.
Well, Jeff, when the late Dale Earnhardt hired Richie Gilmore to head up the engine department at DEI, he told him the most special part to him was the restrictor plate racing. He wanted to have a top-notch deal. They spend over $2 million a year just for the restrictor plate program. They also have 3 full-time employees. From the last race at Talladega last year up until the Daytona 500 this year, they had a plate engine on the dyno or on the chassis dyno every day. That's the kind of emphasis they put on their plate program, and it shows.
And Michael Waltrip, his last race more than a year and a half ago, came at his only career win in Winston Cup at the Daytona 500. Let's go back upstairs.
Michael Waltrip leading Dale Earnhardt Jr. teammates, a 6-car breakaway draft, plus Jeff Gordon in that draft, who's 1 lap down. A lot of brothers in NASCAR racing. There are the Burtons. Right now, Jeff is 9th, Ward is 10th, There are 3 Wallace brothers led by Rusty in 8th, 3 Bodine brothers led by Todd in 22nd, and 2 Labonte brothers led by Bobby in 16th in this race.
I just believe some of the reasons that the DEI cars, Michael Dale Jr. and those guys run so good here. Dale Earnhardt had this intense desire to win here at Daytona. And Larry, you and I talked about this. I believe that he put more emphasis personally when he was driving on this race, and when he started his own team, he put the same kind of emphasis on winning at Daytona. This is the race he wanted to win so desperately, so badly, and he only got the win at one time.
When I look at those 2 cats in front, Michael Waltrip has always run good at Daytona and Talladega. When I look at the man in second, I think the cliche, the apple don't fall far from the tree.
You got it, buddy.
Singular Wireless customers can participate in our virtual pit crew feature from your phones by sending the word Fox as a text message to number 151. We are past halfway at 87 laps. You ride with Robbie Gordon there. He is 38, 2 laps down. And talk about where you start doesn't matter so much. What's happened to our front row? Kevin Harvick, who started on the pole, is back at 30th. And right behind him, the outside pole sitter, Jeffrey Bodine, in 31st.
See the Harvick on the Fox tracks there at 184 miles per hour, and right now he is about 9.5 seconds behind the leader.
Steve Burns with more.
Mike, our pole sitter Kevin Harvick sustained damage to the right front of that race car, about where the headlight decal would be. There's actually a dent or a hole. The team put a patch on, but it blew off, so they've made another one on the next pit stop. They've made it out of sheet metal and duct tape, and they'll apply that to that right front about where the decal, or the headlamp decal would be.
Thanks, Steve. Harvick suffering along in 30th. 35 cars are on the lead left. Now our outside pole sitter, Jeffrey Bodine, Dick Berggren.
Well, Jeffrey's problem is also in the right front corner, Mike. He had an early tangle with another car. They've worked on it on several occasions while they had pitted, but it's really not quite right. He's also complained he doesn't like the rear shock absorbers in the car. He's had a vibration earlier this evening. It's just been a whole host of problems for Jeffrey Bodine.
Come out. Dick, the guy who won the very first Pepsi 400 night race at Daytona, Jeff Gordon, has been doing his best Monty Hall imitation, making deals to work his way to the front. But he may have come to a close because the 15 and 8 cars from DEI are going to try to keep him a lap down. They're not going to try to let him get by and work any kind of deal with the 24 because they know how stout Jeff Gordon is here at Daytona.
And I think that's what, there's 2 guys up there. They say, hey, that cat can beat us, and we got the best Chevrolets out here, and we want to keep him behind us if we can.
But, I mean, Jeff Gordon, Darrell, I think he's doing the best thing he can do. He's sitting there in third. He don't need to start racing because he's going to drive up there past those guys by himself without any help. The closer he can be to them, he may catch him off guard if a caution should come out. So he's doing what he has to do, and about the only thing he can do.
You know, and following up a little bit on what we're talking about Dale Earnhardt and my brother Michael, I think he saw in Michael how great he has always run here at Daytona. And I think that he felt like if he put Michael in a car like he's out there in tonight, that Michael could win races, not only here at Daytona, but everywhere.
Jeff Green battling Kyle Petty in the 45 and Jimmy Spencer in the 41. This is a race for 25th, and behind them, the third Earnhardt Incorporated car, Steve Park in the number 1, and our pole sitter Kevin Harvick and Stacy Compton. In winning the 2001 Daytona 500, Michael Waltrip led 27 laps, the most he had ever led at Daytona in one race. Tonight, he's been out in front for 31 laps.
Hey, Kenny, thanks for setting up this workout with the WWE Superstars.
Yeah, suggesting they help us toughen up for the next race was a great idea.
Did I say toughen up? I meant tough enough.
Actually, Kenny, we meant tough enough, too.
Oh, I don't think I'm going to like this.
If he gets tired, he's got plenty of Stacker 2 inside his car.
That's great, because Stacker 2 really does give you an extra boost of energy.
And it helps burn fat and crush cravings.
Stacker 2, it's the world's strongest fat burner.
Rusty, help!
For years, the signs have been appearing. On August 2nd, the world will discover their meaning.
Look at where it's bent over.
Can't be by hand, it's too perfect. And what one man believes, don't be afraid of what's happening, may save his family. They're in the house. Mel Gibson, here it comes. M. Night Shyamalan's Signs.
There's a monster outside my room. Can I have a glass of water?
Rated PG-13. Everywhere August 2nd.
Having quadruplets, we have a very busy schedule. We shop for everything at Walmart. We get our tires here, too. I can leave the car there for an oil change, new tires, and go shopping. When you're picking out a tire, you need a name brand that you trust, and Walmart carries those, and I know I can trust their prices. We can get our car serviced, get all their toys, and still be home in time for lunch and nap. We have a little sticker on the back of our car that says quadruplets on board. I don't trust my children with just anybody because it's precious cargo.
The Insider Pizza from Pizza Hut is back and better than ever, now with free extra toppings. When you buy the Insider for $10.99, you can get extra toppings or make it a Meat Lovers or Supreme absolutely free. The Insider Pizza, $10.99 and free extra toppings for a limited time only at Pizza Hut.
The all-new Dodge Ram. With an available 245 horsepower Magnum V8. Rack and pinion steering, and the largest brakes in its class.
Hey, they have a boat just like ours.
Find the seams. It's the splitter. No, it's the high heat. Did I lock my keys in the car? Is that so, sir? Going for my Pepsi. Sammy. The 1 liter Big Slam from Pepsi. More of the taste you go for.
The Pepsi 400 on Fox is brought to you by the joy of Pepsi, the choice of Victory Lane.
95 of 160 laps complete. Mike Joy with Darrell Waltrip, Larry McReynolds. As Michael Waltrip continues to lead his teammate Dale Earnhardt Jr. and right behind them sits Jeff Gordon, the defending Winston Cup champion, trying to get a lap back. Now, just as we listen to the drivers and crews communicate, so do the other teams. Listen on Michael Waltrip.
Still clear, single file. Just for information, that 24 cars, the fourth car in line, he's pretty good. So if the caution comes back, I don't think we ought to give his lap back. It might bite him.
And now Jeff Gordon.
I know you know this, but those guys are not going to help you get your lap back. So keep digging on them. Keep digging.
That's Danny Culler, Michael's spotter, and what they needed to see that play, that rerun that we saw there a little earlier when Gordon split them and tried to go up through the middle to get a lap back. He's going to be pretty desperate to get that lap back if a caution does come out.
And I tell you, Danny Culler is a sharp guy. He spotted for years and years for Dale Earnhardt Sr. He's also the man that spotted all of those Winston Cup races and Busch events for Kevin Harvick last year.
Good spotter. I think it was Robbie Loomis talking to Jeff Gordon.
Now on protocol, as Michael Waltrip goes way up high,
traffic.
Around race traffic, Hutch Strickland there. You do not have to you don't have to back out of it and roll out of it and coast to the caution flag. So if a flag were to come out, as long as Michael's not in any jeopardy with the track blocked in front of him, he can haul the mail all the way around to the yellow.
Two things they tell you, one in the driver's meeting. First of all, let the leader keep the other guys a lap down. Now, some of these guys will pull over and let you get a lap back. I'm not a big fan of that. But it also depends on who it is. And that's why I'm not a big fan of it. If you're going to do it for one guy, you ought to do it for everybody. But in my opinion, you should never pull over and let anybody get a lap back.
Hey, guys, I'm pretty impressed, though. I know we had 3 cautions in the first 18 laps. We're almost 100 laps into this, and we only have 2 cars that's out. Kenny Wallace in the 98, Johnny Benson in the 10. Mike Wallace is back out there with repairs 59 laps down, and we showed Tony Stewart that's back out there 33 laps down.
98 complete, closing in on 100 laps. Let's go to pit road and Dick Bergman for tonight's Ford No Boundaries moment.
Compare Rusty Wallace's starting positions to his finishing positions this year, and he has passed 162 cars. Tonight, he started in the 36
7 spot. He has run in the top 10 all night long. In the last 10 races here at Daytona, he has scored more top 5s, more top 10s than anyone. He has never won a Winston Cup points race here. He is overdue. Maybe tonight, Mike.
Maybe. He certainly has come from the back, one of several drivers to start back from provisional land and work their way up into the top 10. Wallace presently is 7th.
And at this point in the season, I mean, we're halfway. He's looking at the big picture. Oh, you know, a guy like him, he's a big picture driver. He's won the championship before. Not too concerned he hadn't won a race yet, but that will get to him before long.
Last night in the Busch Series race, Joe Nemechek won by staying on the bottom of the racetrack, right where these cars are running through the corner, and nobody could challenge him to the outside. Darrell, how is this type of racing tonight different?
There is an art to leading a race. Michael could possibly be backing out the throttle at at the right places. At the right places, so it bottlenecks everybody up, keeps them behind him.
Boy, speaking of right places, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in 8 car was in the wrong place. Jeff Gordon in his 24 ran up there right on his rear bumper, backed away, run up again, and got him loose and kicked him out of line. Now, Jeff Gordon is right behind leader Michael Waltrip.
We're about to see how strong Junior's car is. If he can pull back up the outside behind Michael, I think that'd show us something.
Well, here's what I like. Dale Jarrett won down here a lot. 3 Daytona 500. He's just cruising right now. He's sitting there in a car that I think he's very, very happy with. He's not going to put up a real big fight right now.
But here comes Junior on the outside, came up alongside, and now going to drift back just a little bit on Ryan Newman as they get up to turn 3.
77 slipping in there, too.
Things are heating up as we cross 100 of 160 laps in the Pepsi 400. You're watching NASCAR on Fox.
What would you do with the Pontiac Grand Prix?
Later, Georgia. Daytona.
To go around that track.
Oh,
this is incredible.
Oh my God, there's Tony Stewart.
Oh, awesome.
I'll take you guys for a lap. Oh, yeah.
It's grabbing the corners. Oh. Man, I am sticking to this seat.
You guys want to take this one for a spin?
Go!
I'm going to make them wet their pants.
Could you handle a Pontiac Grand Prix?
Take him down and back, please.
Oh, now that's a beautiful creature, Tom.
No doubt about it. This one has got champion written all over him. This could be the year for the standard.
Hello.
Oh, dear. That's definitely going to cost him.
Sign up for Singular Nation and never pay long distance, never pay roaming. Plus, get 3,500 night and weekend minutes.
Introducing McDonald's new chocolate banana triple thick milkshake. Rich and chocolatey, thick and creamy, with great banana taste. You deserve a shake today.
Using the wrong waterproofer can cost you thousands. Don't be taken for a ride. Demand Thompson's Water Seal. It has the highest level of water protection. Guaranteed. Powerful original. New advanced Thompson's Water Seal.
So, Mrs. Petty, you called Kyle to track and said, let's have dinner for 2.
Dinner for 2? Dinner for crew? They're closed.
Ma'am, were you on a cell phone?
Yes, I was.
Patty, I warned you about the static.
That explains everything. Here, Sprint PCS built the only all-digital, all-PCS nationwide network, so your calls will be clear.
Thank you.
What about them?
I'm thinking drive-through.
4,000 minutes for $39.99 from Sprint.
At Rent-A-Center, you're already pre-approved.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So just come in, pick out whatever you want, and in most cases, it's delivered the same day. Stuff like furniture, computers, TVs.
Doggone remote.
And now, when you get select items during dollar days, you can add on another item for next to nothing. Call 1-800-205-2005 for the nearest store. 1-800-205-2005 for Rent-A-Center.
Hey, I like this stuff.
You go to the races. You watch them on TV. Still got the itch for more? Try fantasy racing at NASCAR.com. Just log on to America Online, enter keyword NASCAR, or visit NASCAR.com. That's where fans like you can scratch that itch. You build your team, you go racing, you take no prisoners. fantasy racing at NASCAR.com. Where else you going to get this stuff? The all-new NASCAR.com. America Online keyword NASCAR.
Welcome back to the Pepsi 400 on Fox. Michael Waltrip, who won the 2001 Daytona 500 in his 463rd Winston Cup race, his first and only career victory. Let's bring you up to date. He currently leads now. Lap 2, Tony Stewart with Sadler and Kenseth contributing, spins 3 times, out of the race and repairs. Johnny Benson into the wall, 3 cracked ribs. Remember, he had earlier injuries with ribs during the season. Then Steve Park, as you see Kevin Harvick, the pole sitter, being shuffled to the back. Steve Park getting into trouble with Mike Wallace. That's the Carrot Top car. Wallace has since come back in the race, and Kurt Busch having a Martha Stewart night, getting himself into a lot of trouble. First of 2 penalties for him. Jeff Gordon had the lead, but then had a punctured tire, fell a lap behind, trying to get his lap back. And as we take a look right now, we've had 5 different leaders, 4 lead changes, 5 cautions, and 2 cars currently officially out of the race. The Visa summary, as you get a look at the average speed, just over 183 miles per hour. Jeff Hammond with about 54 laps to go. We're coming up on pit stops, and this could be critical time here for strategy.
This right here will be the time when the crews are already being told, guys, we got to make one more stop. We come down pit road. First and foremost, drivers don't speed. Pit crews, 5 off, 5 on. Please don't beat us if we've got a chance to win tonight. I'm sure that Michael Waltrip's crew talked to his crew chief, Slugger Labby, earlier, and he said that's one thing about our whole team. It's stepped up here lately. We don't need to let Michael down if we come down pit road, so it's going to be real interesting when it comes time for pit stop.
All right, one of the surprises of the weekend, Dave Blaney, currently running 6th, and let's get a check on his car with Steve Byrne.
Chris, they started 30th, having a great run. Ryan Pemberton, pit stop's about to happen. What we do to that 77 car?
We're running pretty good right now. It starts out a little funky there at the beginning of the run. It kind of car dances around, but if he holds it on the bottom, it seems like he can hold his line, keep a lot of momentum off the corner. So towards the end of the long run, I don't think we're going to make any changes here. We're going to have about 50 laps on our tires at the end of the race and hope for the best.
Back upstairs.
Ryan Newman, number 12, battling Dale Earnhardt Jr. for 2nd. The car right behind leader Michael Waltrip is Jeff Gordon, trying to get back on the lead lap. There's Waltrip's teammate Earnhardt Jr., the number 8, not able to be of any help to Michael right now, but Michael's going to have to deal with Gordon sooner or later.
Look at the run Dave Blaney in the 77's getting on the high side. He's got help from Sterling Marlin in the 40 car as well. Almost would have slipped in there in front of Dale Jarrett, but knew there isn't enough room right there.
I'm going to be a little nervous around that 12 and 77 right now. The 12's a little bit reckless, been moving around a lot, one lane to the other. And then Blaney doing a great job, but has the least amount of experience other than Ryan Newman.
You know, Darrell, just to follow up on Jeff Hammond on the strategy, as he mentioned, we only have one more stop. There's no question we've got about 50 laps on our tires. I'm going to give you 4 tires. This may be the tires that we end on, but I'm also running up and down pit road. I don't want to be on pit road by myself because I have to have a drafting partner, but I don't want to be on there with people all around me because then you end up possibly like Todd Bodine and Robbie Gordon. I don't want to be beating and banging. I want clean pit road, clean pit stall to come into.
Yeah, and a big problem is when everybody tries to come in at once, Larry, getting off the racetrack is a big problem.
It can be pretty exciting.
So pit stops will be coming, most likely when we come back. 109 laps complete in Daytona, and the Pepsi 400 on Fox.
Pushing myself to the limit is what this is all about. And I need an antiperspirant that can keep up. All the clear gels that I've tried, they just don't work for me. But now there's new high-endurance clear gel. It protects against wetness better than the leading gel. Guaranteed. Try it. If you don't like it, Old Spice will buy you a stick of something else. A clear gel that strong? I'm there. New Old Spice high-endurance clear gel.
All right, the number 99 Aaron's Dream Machine.
Oh, yeah, ain't she a beauty? Of course, she don't compare to the wife, though.
Really, these are the true Aaron's Dream Machines, the products we all dream about owning.
And at Aaron's, everyone's automatically pre-approved with no credit required?
Yeah, and you get the guaranteed lowest price, too.
So you can afford this awesome RCA 52-inch big screen TV with picture-in-picture, big speaker sound, and free screen protectors.
And I'm really pre-approved? That's right. So let Aaron's drive your dreams home today.
Welcome to La Vacage Totale. La Vacage Totale. Where you can indulge yourself with tender grilled all-white meat chicken, seasoned rice, and beans. La Vacage Totale. Don't you deserve freshly prepared salsa, crisp lettuce, and zesty dressing? La Vacage Totale. Isn't it time you had it all with Taco Bell's new freshly prepared zesty chicken border bowl? The answer is simply duh. To get the total package, stay outside the bar.
All right, Rob.
Oh, hey, Miss Larson.
Linda will be down in a second.
Hi.
Nice caravan.
Thanks.
I used to have a van.
I can't believe my dad let you drive the Viper.
Yeah, what got into him?
Dodge Caravan, offering a power sliding door, a power rear hatch, and the kind of room you'll really dig.
No matter how big your thirst, 7-Eleven has a fountain drink to fit, like an ice-cold Dr. Pepper.
Is there anything in here for a headache?
My parents should have something.
Oh, never mind. I found it.
Well, why don't you come out of the pool and get something to eat?
Oh, you know, I'm good here, thanks. I love swimming. What'd you do? I was in the pool for 6 hours. I don't have a...
Life is best told over a great-tasting Miller Lite at a place called Miller Time.
Let's have a wrestling match right here in the water. No, I'm hungry. I'm hungry now.
The Pepsi 400 on Fox is brought to you by Miller Lite. Life is best told at a place called Miller Time.
48 laps to go in the Pepsi 400. It's been 50 laps since the last restart. Jeffrey Bodine and Stacy Compton are the first two drivers to come to pit road, making green flag pit stops.
And Darrell, I want to follow up on something you talked about, and that's getting on the pit road as we start seeing a lot of cars come to pit road. In this race last year, some top race cars were taken out by beating and banging on each other and wrecking coming to pit road.
Yeah, well, what happens is the guy in front starts, if you got to get your hand up, you got to come off turn 2 over there, and you got to start waving to everybody behind you, tell them, I'm going to pit this time by. You can't come down here and surprise them off turn 4 and try to drive on pit lane.
Who do we see at Talladega? Was it Sterling Marlin, who cut down at turn 3 instead of getting over at turn 2 and then you got to come down here and you got to lock up the brakes and smoke the tires, and the guy behind you sees the smoke, and then everybody panics. So getting on the pit lane here is going to be real critical. You've been riding around here too with the brakes are all cold. You got to remember to warm those brakes up a little before you come to pit road. Now let's point out, Jeff Gordon is no longer right behind race leader Michael Waltrip. He got shuffled back a bit.
Nobody has taken mercy with him at all. Not at all.
Terry Labonte is in, Jeremy Mayfield, Brett Bodine. Hut Strickland has made his pit stop, and so has Casey Atwood, who was the fastest qualified Dodge in the field.
Well, when you got Jeff Gordon in the situation he's in right now, a lot of times he's sitting there and you wonder what he's holding. Right now, you know he's not holding anything.
These are all scheduled pit stops, and we pretty much know everybody making stops now, they will be able to go to the end of this race should it go green. And it has a green flag look to it right now.
Yes, it does. The way the ball's spread out here, unless somebody just has a problem, a single car incident, I don't see any big accidents in our near future.
A lot of deal making up and down pit road at this stage in the race. Dave Blaney's team trying to link up with Sterling Marlin to try to pit together.
See what I'm talking about? See that car coming on pit road with all 4 tires locked up?
That's Matt Kent says that he's in that very first pit, so he had to get slowed down in a hurry.
Now, if you're coming off of turn 4 and you see that, you're not sure what's happening.
Another thing these guys are trying to make sure, Mike, if you're going to pit with somebody, and I think everybody will change 4 tires, you're trying to make sure somebody you're going to pit with don't change 2 and you change 4, you lose all that ground.
But getting out front all by yourself is no advantage. You're setting up, we saw with Jeff Gordon, got a fast car, but you don't want to get out there all by yourself. They'll just chase you down and pass you. So you got to work with somebody.
Right. Bill Elliott, Bobby Labonte, Ricky Craven have been in. Matt Kenseth, Kyle Petty, Elliott Sadler for the Wood brothers, the winningest team here. And now a big group coming in, including Mike Skinner, Joe Nemechek, Ricky Rudd, Daytona 500 winner Warren Burton, Bobby Hamilton, and Jimmy Johnson. Dick?
Mike Skinner skids to a stop, and he stops exactly perfectly right where he should stop in his pit stall. He has finished as well as 3rd in this event. That back in 1998
done. Rolling around to the left side now. Some of the teams taking longer to